straight to Bailey's. We're here to help and make it easy for you to find the perfect gift for the one you love. Bailey's has something for everyone and every budget. We have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts for under $500 from David Yurman, Apolita, Mikimoto, Lagos, and more. And if you're looking for something extra special, we also have an amazing selection of diamond jewelry. Shop in-store or online at baileybox.com. Give her a gift that's better than chocolate or roses with the easiest and can't-miss way to make her Valentine's Day extra special with a little black and white striped box from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Located in Raleigh's Village District and Crabtree Valley Mall, also in Cary's Fenton, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Just a little reminder from me, Marcy Bailey. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Parenting is hard. Technology can make it harder. The Family Media Plan developed by the American Academy of Pediatrics helps make it easier. Go to healthychildren.org/media plan today to create the media plan that's right for your family.
Hey, Mom, I've been meaning to talk to you about some new COVID information I saw online. I read that black folks like us with certain conditions like diabetes, heart disease, mental health conditions, or being 50 and older, like you, are at high risk.
Boy, you sound like a commercial.
I'm just saying. I know you love your ginger teas and essential oils, but remember, there are treatment options for COVID-19.
I promise if I get sick again, I'll call my doctor to ask about my options.
Visit WeTalkWeRise.com to learn more. Brought to you by Pfizer.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Rain on and off, chilly temperatures for the rest of the day. Today is a WRAL weather alert day for the potential for some flooding, especially in spots that tend to flood pretty easily. A high of only 43 degrees, and that will hold it in the 40s overnight. We still have a chance of rain tomorrow, mainly in the afternoon, but you'll notice it's warmer with mid-60s for highs.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 3 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 199 points at 44,393.
And they're going to stop play with so much moisture at midcourt. The head coach of the Blue Devils livid. A foul wasn't called there. To the right, lob it back to the baseline for Cooper. 2 defenders crash at him. Up top, Conn will launch and hit a 3. Cooper on the left, found a cutter on the baseline, and James underneath the hoop. Outside, Evans a 3 on the right. Good. Looking inside to the right, Cooper. This to tie. Give it to him. Drive Shefflin on the right. Got to the baseline, slipped and fell down. Clemson wins 77-71.
The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Graham Hill producing the show for us today. You know, this past weekend, Graham, really the last few days for ACC basketball here in the Triangle haven't been great. It's been about as crappy as the weather is outside. And I know UNC beat Pitt by a point on Saturday, but NC State suffered another close loss. UNC got blown out by Clemson just a couple days ago. Duke lost to Clemson as well on the road. So Carolina and Duke should not be losing to Clemson. Basketball. Football, all right, I'll accept that.
The state of South Carolina just keeps getting to us. This can't happen.
Exactly.
That can't happen, Dennis.
We cannot allow the state of South Carolina to dominate us in our sport, college basketball, that belongs in this state. Congratulations, Cal. You're going to get the brunt of it tonight from Duke basketball. Don't worry, we're going to dive into NC State taking on Louisville at home. By the way, Duke, NC State, Two teams that are really like some kind of critical moments, I guess you could say, of their season. I don't say necessarily critical moments, but they're kind of at some pivot points. Two very different ways, two very different reasons, but they are kind of at a pivotal point. I'll start with Duke. Duke tonight taking on Cal tonight, 9 o'clock at Cameron Indoor Stadium. By the way, you can listen to that game over on Buzz Sports Radio. Again, congratulations, Cal. You're getting Duke after a loss. Duke is looking to bounce back from their first loss of the season, the first loss since early on in the season when they lost to Kansas on a neutral site game. Again, having lost this past weekend to now ranked number 23 Clemson, 77-71. Clemson's been ranked at different points this season, but they're number 23 right now. How does Duke respond? That's the biggest question because it's been since November since they lost a game. It's been nearly 3 months since they lost. It's been a minute. Early in the year, Duke, it was a young team, still figuring things out. These individual players, what's their role on the team? What are their strengths individually? What are the strengths of their teammates? What can they do well as a team? Learning more about yourselves. What part of your game developed? Sometimes I realized this when I was coaching college players. They didn't realize sometimes how good they actually were at something. It's like, oh, you never. Sometimes talk to players, hey, you're really good at doing this. So like, well, I never really thought that as part of my game. I'm like, well, you actually excel at it. Let's add that to your repertoire of what you do. So sometimes, again, it's young players figuring out. It's also a lot of young players adapting with so many freshmen that they have. So many of these guys are just used to being the guy wherever they played in high school. Their AAU teams, they were the guy. You get to college, not everyone can be the guy. But when you're one of the best teams in the country, when you have the projected number 1 overall pick in Cooper Flagg, quote-unquote generational talent, as a lot of people like to refer to him as, there are high expectations. Your favorite on the road against Clemson, you have that expectation to win. Now there's an expectation of, all right, you had the slip-up. No pun intended to Cooper Flagg. You had the slip-up on Saturday. How do you respond? John Shire, earlier this week at his press availability, talked about the pressure that comes with being the head coach at Duke, but also the privilege of having that role.
The obligation, or I would call it responsibility, more than pressure. I think responsibility is the right word that I feel, where you want to have the best team and program you can have. And so the position our program is in, I take a lot of pride in that. I think the trust from, the Nina and university, and you want to make sure it's represented in the right way. So to me, it's a responsibility and a privilege, and I treat it as such every single day. I don't want our players ever, and for me, you can't go in feeling tight or feeling that's not the right way to go about it. But to go in with responsibility, confidence, and just making sure you're representing the program in the best way.
So how does that carry into tonight against Cal, an opponent? I don't even know if Duke has ever really played Cal.
I know this is, obviously the first ACC matchup of the season.
First time, yep.
It's their first time at least playing at Cameron Indoor Stadium between the two.
Yeah, they may have met in some neutral site thing or anything like that before, but it's not like these two programs have history, if that makes sense. But one thing that we haven't really seen Duke, because this season they've been mostly dominant against the majority of the teams that they've played, is have too much this season. They haven't seen too much late game comebacks, right? We haven't seen them be put in too many pressure situations, quote unquote. And honestly, they haven't needed to. But after losing on Saturday to Clemson, where Cooper Flagg had the ball down 73-71 with under a minute to go, driving to the basket, slipping on a wet spot on the floor, some people still like to bring up the question of, can Duke handle late game situations, including Dallin Cuff. He's part of ESPN, ACC Network. He's a college basketball analyst for the Four Letter Network. Talking about Cooper Flagg and Duke, well, he says they haven't handled adversity well this season.
They may be the most talented team, guys, but I have a huge question about their league. Now, they did take a loss at Clemson. And again, late game, they didn't look great. Teams were able to space them out because they're switching everything and attack Cooper Flagg. Chase Hunter was outstanding late game. Vicar Locken was great throughout the game, but they attacked Cooper Flagg. They went at him defensively. And I don't care if he was under the weather. Late game, again, he struggled to produce. When the game was on the line, he lost his footing, slipped, turnover, going the other way. Now, I want them to learn from these mistakes and learn from these losses. The problem is I don't think they're going to see many of them. And the last time we saw them, even in this situation with game pressure, was 2 months ago, 3 months ago almost, when they played Kentucky and Kansas and lost in both those games. Freshmen will have the ball in their hands. I want them to be more battle-tested. I don't think they're getting it. If they do, and they pass those tests, or even if they lose some of them, I might actually feel better.
To quote Samuel L. Jackson in Pulp Fiction, allow me to retort. Handling late-game situations, this goes for any team, any sport, isn't about what you do when your team is down close late in games. It's not just when you're losing late in games. It's also how you handle and manage the game when you have a lead. Was it not a late-game situation for Clemson the other day? If Flagg doesn't slip and ends up making that shot, does it then become a late-game situation for Clemson? Look, Cooper Flagg gets the shot late. Go back to when they played against Auburn. Duke was only up by 2, 70-68, with just over 5 minutes to play. They never let Auburn close the distance and tie the game. Protecting the ball, making free throws, decision-making, not fouling, rebounds, just making shots, not playing tight. That matters just as much when you have a lead late in the game as it does when you're trailing. Heck, go back to when they played Wake Forest not that long ago. They were down 4 with 7 minutes to play. At Cameron just a few weeks ago against NC State. It's a 1-point game, 63-62, with 4:40 to play. Those are also handling of late-game situations as well. Yes, Clemson had an awesome game on Saturday, but I'm not going to overreact like it's football and say just because of one loss, this team all of a sudden flaws. This isn't football, which we overreact to football enough as it is. You got 30-plus games in a regular season for college basketball. Have they outclassed their opponents mostly? Yeah. Especially in conference? Yeah. Because they are that good, and then the rest of the league isn't that great. That's not Duke's fault. That the rest of the ACC overall is not good. Clemson's a good basketball team. They're going to be in the NCAA tournament. Projected as a 7 seed right now. Heck, it might even go higher, depending on what they do the rest of the way. But I hate the notion, and I think sometimes sports media falls into this, is that how do you handle late game situations? We automatically assume it's, well, you're down 4 with, 2 minutes left. Well, what about up 4, 2 minutes left? You got to handle that just as well as you do when you're trailing. That stuff matters too. How you handle late game when you have a lead. Just ask Boston College when they played against UNC at the Dean Dome just a couple of weeks ago. How they handled that late game situation when they had a lead. Oh, wait, they didn't, and they lost in overtime. That kind of stuff matters too. And Duke's done a good job of it this year, for the most part. I'm not going to blame Duke because Cooper Flagg slipped on Saturday. Who knows what could have happened at that point? Speaking of North Carolina, there is one team at UNC that is being spoke about in high regard right now. That hasn't always been the case. We'll discuss that in 4 minutes.
Tim Donnelly here for Miller Lending. Now, yes, congratulate me. My wife just had our second child, a brand new baby daughter. And with that comes so much joy and, well, savings, right? You got to save for a wedding. You got to save for another college education. Parents, back me up. Kids, they're expensive. So have Miller Lending make sure you're not spending unnecessarily on your mortgage each and every month. When you're signing up for a mortgage because you need to upsize, maybe a growing family, call up Miller Lending. They can shop for the best rate at 20 or 30 lenders to make sure you get the best rate, and Miller Lending can do their no closing cost loan to make sure you don't pay costs and fees and take all that cash out of your pocket. It sounds lovely because it is. right? Some things just live up to the hype, like parenthood, like being a girl dad. So give them a call, 919-447-3377, or visit them online at millerlending.com. Once again, that's millerlending.com. Miller Lending is an equal housing lender and MLS number 250-2146.
Move your sports day forward.
They felt that they couldn't get there with Marty Natchez and Jack Drury. That's what a trade is. It wasn't going to work with those two guys. But perhaps with Mikko Rantanen and Taylor Hall, it does work. And maybe that window just got a little bit bigger. Time will tell. Time will tell. That is the biggest elephant in the room. This is a new era of Carolina Hurricanes hockey.
Get set up. Join Next Up with Paul Ihander. Mornings at 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Get ready. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards, shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat Show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, February 14th through the 16th at the Carr Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission and parking.
Time to get ready for golf season, and Global Golf is ready for you. Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs and can help every part of your game, from lessons, club fittings, and repairs. Don't forget, we take trade-ins. Bring in your current clubs and get store credit towards your new clubs. You're invited to Global Golf, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
Breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. This month, get 3 rooms of carpets cleaned, starting at $109, and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at zeroresraleigh.com.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99?
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
One story I always heard was Billy's first words were, "Beat Duke."
You think we should call him Billy Graham? Call him Billy Graham. Graham, you think we should call him Billy at press conferences? Not refer to him as Billy Graham. That's a different crusade.
I don't know. Maybe if you can make Bill Belichick laugh, you've earned that right to call him Billy in a press conference.
Maybe.
I don't know. First impression wise, at ACC kickoff, if you're sitting down with him, hey Billy, welcome to the show. Thanks for having me, Dennis.
Yeah. Oh, well, thanks for being here. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim this afternoon. Graham Hill producing the show. You heard a soundbite there from Bill Belichick. And the reason why we're talking about North Carolina football right now is because Michael Lombardi, their general manager, spoke to the media yesterday for about 25, 26 minutes. UNC football, people are talking highly about UNC football now in a way we haven't heard. Again, Michael Lombardi, their general manager, who kind of feels like he's become the spokesperson, while Bill Belichick is still the face and going on national programming. We see Bill Belichick on Pat McAfee's show. We see him in Super Bowl commercials on Dunkin' Donuts. You're seeing his face everywhere. There's a clear plan of what UNC wants to do. And listening to Michael Lombardi talk yesterday to the media, which, by the way, if you want to check out the entire press conference, if you go to WRELSportsFan.com, Brian Murphy, WREL Sports Investigative Reporter, has an article up on different things that we're actually going to touch on right here, including everything that UNC is doing is they are constructed themselves like a pro team.
You know, we talk about who we've signed, but we are one team. It's not like this signing class and some others. We're all one team, and I think we have to really do a good job of showing our players kind of what to expect and how the program is going to be different than it was in the past. And again, every program's different when you make a coaching change. So the players have been really receptive. I think that they've been great at taking the information in, and when coach is able to get in front of them at our team meetings and talk about football and what it takes and what we expect from them, I think they've been really good, and I think they've responded. Our off-season workouts have been good. The players want to be coached. I think one thing you learn about players, whether it's high school, college, or pro, players want to improve. And your job as a coach, whether you're 18 years old as a coach or whether you're 85 like Tom Moore, is if you can make the player better, the players will listen.
Everything they're doing is building themselves like a pro team. They've literally branded themselves and starting to refer to themselves as the 33rd NFL team. And Lombardi continues to explain how it's vital for them to continue to get their message out there and why transparency is vital for the team moving forward.
Part of our job is to explain who we are and what we're doing. That's what the fans want to know. And they want to know what their program is because they want to stand next to somebody and say they're building this at North Carolina, and they want to say it with authority. And so that's my job. That's Coach Belichick's job, is to keep echoing those comments. And I think once you get people to buy into your plan and you explain it, the second area of leadership is called management of meaning, you get people to follow you.
Now, this is what North Carolina has armed themselves with. Bill Belichick out there on the recruiting show. We're building a pro-style organization, essentially. We're the 33rd NFL team. There's an article put out today by The Athletic. Article written today. Grace Rayner was one of the writers along with someone else, talking about how Bill Belichick is on the trail, might say on the recruiting trail, going all over the place, building themselves to be a national brand. Michael Lombardi did refer to it. We'll hear a clip here in just a second about North Carolina. You see the color, you see the logo, you see the jump man. People associate it with North Carolina. You can go to anywhere in the country, you show that logo, like, oh, that's UNC. People know it, and people know who Bill Belichick is. And when Bill Belichick is going into high schools to talk to players, people listen. There's much more pop when Bill Belichick walks into a building. There's much more attention. It's written in the article, quoted from coaches saying, yeah, when Bill Belichick's in there, there's a lot more eye contact. There's a lot more guys sitting up straight. There's a lot more of that going on, and he's going heavy into the 2026 recruiting class. And Michael Lombardi continued to talk about how Bill Belichick can walk into any school and say, hey, we got this name brand. We got the best coach.
We have a great brand. I mean, we have this UNC logo is worldwide, so we shouldn't limit ourselves. You know, I think that we can walk into any school and say, we're North Carolina. We have the greatest coach in the history of football, and we have a great university. Come play for us. I think it's a powerful message.
It definitely is. It 100% is, but I do hope that Bill Belichick doesn't go the way of Larry Fedora. All of you Carolina football fans out there, hear Larry Fedora, I could feel the tension already. Larry Fedora did a terrible job of recruiting in the state of North Carolina. Terrible job. One thing you have to give Mack Brown a ton of credit for, when Mack Brown came back to UNC, rebuilt the relationships with high schools in the state and started getting in-state players. I mean, gosh, they're about to have a top 50 pick in the NFL draft, Omari and Hampton, for right down the road in Clayton. It's not that far away from Chapel Hill. You just had last year, 4th overall pick in Drake May from Charlotte area. Like, you've had that on your team. Tez Walker was from the state of North Carolina. He was a 4th-round pick. So, yeah, you can get good guys in state as well, and you have to make sure that you get those guys too. Can't let guys continue to go to Tennessee or Clemson. You have to be able to lock in guys locally here just as much as you do nationally. You can't be one of the best recruiting teams nationally if you can't recruit inside your own state. But part of building the culture, Michael Lombardi said, is that everyone, yes, knows who they are. It's important to know what they're doing, but it's also vital to get former players and alums bought in.
There's a lot of pride in this program, and there's a lot of pride in this university, and I think our job is to bring it out. And I think what we have to do is we have to honor those who've come before us. These screens here that talk about the former players that have been here, that's not enough. You know, they deserve more than a screen. They deserve way more than that because we've had so many great players here. So I think we're going to have to pay really more respect to the greatness of this program from a football standpoint. We haven't won ACC since 1980. We're all aware of that. But, man, we've had a lot of good players, and they deserve to be in this hallway. They deserve to have the spotlight. So I think in terms of what's been the hardest part is trying to bring out those alumni, bring them back. This is a beautiful facility, but it's not a home for the older players.
We are hearing the plan from Michael Lombardi. We're hearing the plan. We're seeing Bill Belichick out there on the recruiting trail. Again, we're talking in high regard, in the reverence of what we are speaking regarding UNC football right now is in much higher regard than what we're talking about with basketball. And I think this is where a lot of frustration, to kind of tie things back into the team that's playing right now in UNC basketball, I think a lot of people are seeing, wait, UNC football is putting in a lot of resources, or just UNC is putting a lot of resources into football, general manager, recruiting staff, everything that they're doing, the money that's being poured in and the direction that they're going. And look, there is a plan. Whether you like the plan or not, whether you think the plan works or not, at least there's a plan and they're laying it out. And I think when UNC fans look at their basketball team and they don't see that, that's where the frustration builds. It's like, well, wait a second. Why didn't Hubert do that? When he could have had a general manager a couple years ago, their women's basketball teams had a GM for a couple of seasons. It's not like UNC football has been lighting it up on the field, but gosh, we're talking about them like they're this big national program, this big national brand, because they're treating themselves as such. And they are carrying themselves as such. That's the reason why people are talking about them the way that they are. It's a big swing by UNC. We've talked about it back in November when Bill Belichick got hired. It's a big swing by North Carolina. And right now, the way things are looking, it's like, well, okay, they have a plan. They're going after recruits. Did they sign as much like on National Signing Day as probably they could have out of the 2025 class? I know there are some early commits. I know Bill Belichick kind of getting the late jump by the time that he got hired and so forth. Questions about Mack Brown and what the future is going to look like. But there's the spring transfer portal that's coming up in a few months in April. I would not be surprised if UNC is going to start looking and picking guys off there too. Guys that go into the portal. That's probably why they didn't sign as many freshmen this year. But the 2026 class of recruiting, by the way, I was talking with Joel Bryant from High School OT earlier today. Check out highschoolot.com. The 2026 recruiting class in the state of North Carolina is as good as it's ever been. It's as good as it's ever been. And seeing the fact as well that Bill Belichick is actually going to Roseville and out to Durham and the Charlotte area and recruiting these 4- and 5-star guys. It's a big deal. And he's trying to flip 5-star guys. They have a plan, and there's a reason why people are viewing them in such high regard. Bill Belichick hasn't even coached a practice yet. So I can see why the frustration when you see that for football and UNC known for basketball sees their program where they are right now. I get why the frustration's there. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Here to tell you about Dennis Cox, here to tell you about my friends over at Law Tigers. And folks, I want everyone to understand that you have an opportunity in front of you right now. You have an opportunity in front of you right now. If you go to caniacsbike.com, you yourself can enter to win a custom Caniacs motorcycle. That's right, a custom motorcycle. Custom Caniacs motorcycle. Just go to caniacsbike.com because the Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint, they've all teamed up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Canes motorcycle. It's an absolutely gorgeous bike. It's one of one. It's custom built, custom painted, all built right here in Raleigh. It's an absolutely gorgeous bike. White wall tires. I want this bike. I want it. I can't have it, but you can. If you just go to caniacsbike.com, that's where you can enter to win. The deadline is April 6th. The bike's going to be given away on the ice at the last home game of the year, but don't wait. Go enter now. Go to caniacsbike.com for your chance to win this custom motorcycle. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. We have a couple of big games tonight in the state of North Carolina, a couple of big basketball games, but we have to look back at some previous games, Graham. We got to dish out some players on the Dean's List. Who got graded high enough to be on the Dean's List today? We have that next coming up.
Everyone deserves a fast and reliable connection, one that helps better their everyday through the things they value most: friends and family, education and career. A connection that opens pathways to opportunity and builds roads to a better future. At Spectrum, we're committed to delivering just that every single day. Because with the right connection, anything is possible. That's Life Unlimited. That's Spectrum.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Jackson Hewitt makes taxes feel like a yacht rock song.
Breeze, give me my biggest tax refund, please. You, me, and a lifetime accuracy guarantee.
And now get $100 just to try Jackson Hewitt. Does your tax person do that?
Say goodbye to that no guarantee tax guy.
Ready to sail through tax season? Go to Jackson Hewitt and you'll be... Limited time offer for new clients. Participating locations only. Terms at jacksonhewitt.com.
It's a classic odor tale. You fried fish for dinner, cleaned up, but the smell is still in the house. And the neighbors are coming over for game night. They're on their way. And then... you spray Febreze Air Mist. Febreze Air starts working instantly to fight even your toughest odors, so you go from fish to fresh like that. Now, all you have to worry about is Pam cheating at charades.
Breathe happy, Febreze, la 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 la.
Don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto's Rapid Equity Loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours. Paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now, 919-381-1760, or visit loanpronto.com. Get a free rate quote with no hard credit pull, 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
This Valentine's Day, if you really want to impress me, how about a romantic meal at home from the Butcher's Market? Cause we each get a juicy filet mignon, lobster tails, twice-baked potatoes, and 4 long-stem chocolate-covered strawberries. Pretty romantic.
Right. And the folks over at the Butcher's Market have made it so easy for guys like us. I just order online, and it'll be ready for pickup when I walk in the door.
So what are you waiting for? Visit thebutchersmarket.com now. Trust me, you'll be glad you did.
Parker, high-arcing 3, his 5th triple of the game.
Trey Parker's come on strong. He actually made our Dean's List yesterday, if I remember correctly, Graham. We'll talk about Trey Parker, NC State basketball. They're in a real funky situation right now. Lost 7 straight. Been rough. It's been rough for NC State basketball. We'll talk about them here in just a little bit. But Graham, before we do, also we have the Four Nations, by the way. I know our program director, Paul Eyander, who also hosts Next Up from 9 to 10, Graham producing on right here on 99.9 The Fan, 9 to 10 in the morning. Canada plays Sweden today in the Four Nations, which, by the way, if you're a hockey fan, watch it. This is literally the collection of the best players in the world playing right now. That's going to be starting tonight. USA versus Finland tomorrow. But Seth Jarvis, Kane, playing for Canada. Paul Eyander said, "What if he gets hurt?" I said, "Don't put that out there.
Don't speak of it.
It's already raining." But we are going to talk Four Nations here just a little bit. Before we get into that, Graham, it's time to fire up the Dean's List. Let's ring that bell. Class in session. First one I'm going to do on the Dean's List here, Graham. I'm actually going to go to a little college basketball. Eddie Lampkin Jr., Miami. Big man. He's a senior. 22 points, 13 rebounds last night in a win for Miami over Syracuse. Now, why am I throwing a Miami player whose team that's dead last in the ACC getting a win against Syracuse?
More victories.
Well, no, that was a real victory. But I think if for a guy like Eddie Lampkin Jr., it's in his final year of college basketball, he's a senior. Their coach, don't forget, Jim Larinaga at the turn of the new year, quit. I'm sorry, resigned or retired, whatever it was. He retired from basketball. You quit. You quit. So for a player like him in his final year of college basketball, to still compete, to still put up numbers like that, even though their season is long lost. Now, I understand that there is a mathematical chance that they could win a few more games and teams ahead of them lose and they could sneak their way into the ACC tournament. Highly doubt that's going to happen. But I still love the fact that for him, there's not a whole lot on the line. Still getting things done. Congrats to Miami basketball. I legit feel bad for those dudes. I really do. Your coach quits on you in the middle of the season. Quits. I really do feel bad for those guys. But you know what? Shout out to Miami. Shout out to Eddie Lampkin Jr. 22 and 13. Congrats to him. I'm actually going to go back to the weekend here a little bit, Graham. When it comes to the Dean's List, Monday's a little bit difficult for us to do a Dean's List because we do a Monday sound off. We're trying to get people callers that have all different points of view. So usually Tuesday we try and pull some for the weekend, but I'm also going to go for the weekend here. UNC Lacrosse, North Carolina, got a big 15-6 win against Michigan. Owen Duffy of North Carolina, 4 goals, 2 assists. So he factored into 6 goals himself. Michigan as a whole only had 6. Props to Owen Duffy. But here's one thing as well, Graham. As a former college lacrosse player and college lacrosse coach, I still very much keep in touch with the sport, follow the sport very closely. I love watching the sport. I love doing play-by-play of it. I love doing all those things. Michigan's coach last year, at the beginning of the year, was pumping up the Big Ten. Big Tens where big boys play lacrosse. Those were tough, physical, Guys are going to smack you in the mouth, that kind of deal. Big Ten. Not the, he said, like the pretty boy stuff, basically referring to the ACC. Sure enough, he plays ACC schools last year, gets smacked around, smacking them around again this year. Take that, Michigan. Your big boy lacrosse. Why don't you go win something? Oh, wait, you haven't. Go ahead. We'll wait. So Owen Duffy on the Dean's List. Actually, I'm going to throw another lacrosse player on the Dean's List. Utah men's lacrosse player, Ryan Steins. Wait, why are you throwing a Utah men's? That's right. Utah has lacrosse. Ryan Steins, North Carolina native. Cary, went to Panther Creek High School. Had 2 goals and 5 assists for Utah. But I also bring up this game for our guy Tim Donnelly. Shout out to Tim and the fam. Those 7 points, 2 goals and 5 assists came in a 13-12 loss to the Delaware Blue Hens. So the Delaware Blue Hens going 1-0 to start the year. I got to give a shout out to the Delaware Blue Hens, led by Bennett Palmer, who had 4 goals in that game for Delaware. I had to give a shout out to the Blue Hens. Shout out to Tim. Hope you're doing well, my man. I hope your family and everyone's doing well. Graham, do you have anyone to throw on the Dean's List?
Seb Jarvis.
This is because he's a college-aged kid? Is that why you're throwing Seth Jarvis on the Dean's List? Come on.
Not even that.
Because he's a senior in high school age young man?
Well, sure. I kind of forgot. I forgot the requisite for the Dean's List. I forgot that it had to be college. Well, he's Harvard educated, and he's making his debut in the Four Nations face-off, going up against his teammate Sebastian Aho, saying he's going to run him down. So Harvard educated, playing the Four Nations face-off. Big afternoon, big day for Seb Jarvis.
Yeah, I think Canada Finland. I think that game is early next week. Because Canada Sweden tonight. No Canes on for Sweden, but we actually get 3 Canes tomorrow as Finland plays USA. We'll dive into the Four Nations here in just a second. You're throwing Jarvis on there. He's a pro. This is all about college. Come on.
That's my fault.
Come on.
Well, I found a way to tie back into college.
You're in detention, Graham.
Fair enough.
Ring the bell. You're an ISS. Graham's in ISS. Jarvis. Come on. Jarvie, really, for the Dean's List? You might be right. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim this afternoon. Someone we might get on the Dean's List tomorrow might be Trey Parker, the freshman from Fayetteville, North Carolina. Talk about in-state recruiting. Playing for NC State. NC State's at home tonight against Louisville. Let's be honest. For NC State, they're just desperate to find a win in some way, shape, or form. Just finding a win. They have 2 wins in the ACC, which is tied for the fewest in conference. Because as we mentioned a moment ago, Miami beat Syracuse last night. So Miami improved to 2-11 in conference. Boston College and NC State are at 2-10. So if NC State just wants to even make the ACC tournament, they got to get wins in some way, shape, or form. Now, they are playing a Louisville team that can't afford to slip up. Louisville is right there in the NCAA tournament right now, but a couple bad losses easily puts them on the bubble, if not outside. So you're going to get Louisville's best shot tonight when you're NC State at home against in the Lenovo Center. But one thing, Graham, I will give NC State credit for this. Kevin Keats has said it. I noticed it too when watching them play. The execution may not always be there, but the team fights and competes. They really do. That team easily could have just folded at, 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. Easily could pack it in. Part of human nature. It's an easy thing to do. Hey, you know what? It's not going our way. Let's just call it. All right, we'll show up. We'll practice. We'll go out there and play. Let's roll the ball out. But this team's still fighting their tails off and competing hard. And you have to give these dudes credit because we are hearing from other programs not that far down the road saying otherwise. And there are questions about that when there are a lot more at stake.
At least Kevin Keats can give an immediate answer to the media when asked about the team's urgency and fight and willingness to compete.
Facts. 100% facts. So you can say that about this State team. Are they winning? No. Are they competing, though? Still putting forth a fight? Yes. Execution isn't always there. There are questions about rotation and who's in and late game execution and losing all these close games. Sure, absolutely. All warranted. Ain't for lack of effort, though. Ain't for lack of buy-in. But Kevin Keats actually in his media availability just a couple of days ago did talk about the pressure or sense of urgency regarding the remaining few games that they have on their schedule.
Well, I don't think there's panic. We have to play the schedule that's left in front of us, and obviously, as you know, with the group, I can only, obviously prepare them for the next game, and that's obviously Louisville on Wednesday. We need to play well down the stretch, and I think our guys understand that without putting extra pressure on them. But you have to start and kind of focus on the next game, and that's the only way that we've ever done it, and it's worked out for us in the past.
Yes, it has maybe worked out for you in the past, but you got to focus on the now. And let's be honest, there are games on their schedule that are winnable. You have Boston College at home on Saturday. They're right there at the bottom of the league. We're with you. Syracuse, you got to go on the road to Syracuse. They're not special. Georgia Tech. You also play against bottom dweller Miami. You have a home game against Pitt. Pitt's kind of fallen off.
All of a sudden, that game to Chapel Hill next Wednesday against North Carolina, that could be winnable.
I mean, it definitely is. 100% is. Anytime you get a rivalry type game, like they always say, you throw the records out, but nothing about North Carolina that's impressed you in that matchup. You only lost to them by 2 because Jalen Washington had a block late in the game. The Jalen Washington game. They only lost by 2 against them earlier this season. And again, it's not like North Carolina's doing anything special, but regards to State, obviously their season's been super frustrating. You look at just this stretch of losses that they've had since they beat Notre Dame. It's 8 straight losses. They lost by 2 to UNC. They lost by 3 to Virginia Tech, by 3 to Cal, lost by 6 to SMU, lost by 10 to Duke, lost by 10 to Clemson, both ranked teams, 12 to Cal, by 1 to Stanford. That's the last 8 games. They've been in really every single game. They haven't been blown out. Carolina's been blown out. State hasn't. This season has been incredibly frustrating for NC State. Coming off all the good feels of raising a couple of banners into the rafters of the Lenovo Center at the beginning of the year, you're probably thinking, if you're NC State and head coach Kevin Keats, hey, let's build off the momentum and at minimum get to the NCAA tournament and see what happens. That's how you generate momentum as a program. Yes, you had the big long run. It's about how you back it up. It's all about how you back it up. We have seen Kevin Keats start to get some younger players involved, including Trey Parker, who's come on strong. He had a career-high the other day in points against Stanford, was 5 of 8 from behind the arc. He was 6 of 11 overall shooting. Also had a career high in assists that game. He overall had a really good day. I know he missed a shot there at the buzzer that would have won the game, but I'm not going to put a loss and saddle it on him for a freshman who played his best game of his career. But Kevin Keatts did talk earlier this week on Monday about how Trey Parker has emerged for the offense for NC State over the past few weeks.
Excited about, how he's playing, and hopefully that he continues to play the way he did. He's done a really good job, and, he's getting better. He's working hard and putting in the work, and, obviously we need, someone to be able to, he's the one guy that can probably get his own shot and then create for others, and that's what I like.
Sometimes freshmen, we see, for example, we're seeing Trey Parker right now. Sometimes freshmen early in the year just aren't ready to handle that workload. You have to ease them and gradually build them up to what they may be able to do late in the year. It's a lot to put on a freshman earlier in the year. Hey, be one of our leading scorers. Very few can do that. Very few. Even the most highly touted recruits that might be top 10 picks in the NBA draft don't always handle that early right away in college. Very few do. It takes some time to do that. And I'm sure Kevin Keatts is probably looking at these last 6 or so games of the season and telling Trey, hey, keep working. Keep doing what you've been doing. Continue to add to your game. Continue to be aggressive. Build his confidence, because if Keatts is back next season, because there's the whole buyout thing, it's going to cost money if you want to decide to get rid of Kevin Keatts. That's a different conversation. But if Keatts is coming back, Trey Parker's a young player that you got to build around. Because you have a lot of older guys on your team that can be leaving after the season. Michael O'Connell, Ben Middlebrooks, remember correctly, Jaden Taylor. You have some older guys that are leaving. Breon Pass. Older guys.
Styles, Marcus Hill.
Yes. Several guys. I think Brandon Huntley-Hatfield might be the same thing as well. You have a lot of guys that are going to be leaving your team after this season. I mean, that's before you even get into transfers. You got to make sure a guy like Trey Parker stays on your team. And even a young sophomore like Dennis Parker Jr. stays on your team. You have to make sure that you keep this core, or at least these young guys, engaged and still developing them. Because, again, if you're back, you want those guys back. And we've seen Kevin Keatts put together teams through the transfer portal. It's not out of the realm of possibility that he could do that and get guys for it. We saw it last year. And some of the best players that he's gotten recently. DJ Horn, DJ Burns, guys that came through the transfer portal. Ben Middlebrooks came through the transfer portal. Michael O'Connell, portal. I mean, gosh, look at the team they're playing tonight. Pat Kelsey, first-year head coach at Louisville, a Louisville program that was down in the dumps, stunk for years. Pat Kelsey comes in, completely new roster. I mean, and I'm not exaggerating that. They literally have all new players on their roster this season. Everything about that team is different. They've gotten themselves ranked at different points in the top 25. They're projected right now to be a 7th seed in the NCAA tournament from a team that was down in the dumps and stunk. And Pat Kelsey literally turned that around in less than a year to get that back to the point of, oh, Louisville is actually like, you have to respect Louisville again. It's actually the Louisville basketball, the brand of Louisville basketball that we've known for years. The one that was Conference USA, then, gosh, they were even in the American for a little bit in the Big East before they got to the ACC. Well, Brooke Pitino and all those teams, now they got in trouble for some different reasons, but we won't dive into that. But Louisville basketball as a brand is something that we've known.
You could argue they're one of the hottest teams in the country right now for college basketball. They come into tonight's matchup against NC State, winners of 12 in their last 13 games.
I'd say that's good.
Tall task for the Wolfpack tonight, but could set up for a golden opportunity to knock off Louisville Cards. Shake up the conference standings a little bit. That's what NC State really should just play for right now, is just spoiler in the ACC.
I mean, for them, they're still trying to get into the ACC tournament. It's mathematically not out of the realm of possibility for NC State. Notre Dame only has 4 wins. Syracuse has 5. Georgia Tech 5. Virginia 5. Cal has 5. Pitt has 5. Florida State has 5. And Virginia Tech has 6. Like, there's a cluster of teams at the bottom of the ACC that are all going to be beating each other up. And heck, NC State's got to play a few of these teams. They play at Syracuse. They play Georgia Tech. They play Pitt. All teams with just a couple wins ahead of them in the conference. Again, I think tonight is going to go in the favor of Louisville. Louisville's just a better team. Louisville can't afford a loss. They had a lack of a better term, bad loss against Georgia Tech. Their only loss in that 13-game stretch you mentioned, Graham, 77-70. But that's it. Like that Louisville has to win this game. I don't think NC State gets it done tonight, but again, I love the compete. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly. A couple minutes left here in this segment, Graham. You mentioned your guy for the Dean's List, Seth Jarvis. Your Dean's List.
Harvard educated.
Yes, Jarvard himself. He has his own school. If you're a Carolina Hurricanes fan, are you panicking right now that you're having Jarvis, Aho, Rantanen, Jacob Slavin, four of your best players playing in the Four Nations? Worried about potentially guys getting hurt? I mean, that's got to be a real fear for general managers right now, right? It's got to be. But granted, this tournament, this Four Nations tournament, is put on by the NHL. It was agreed upon by the Players Association and the league itself, something that they wanted to do so they can have best on best. Canada, U.S., Sweden, Finland, which are the four nations that supply players to the NHL more than any other country. I think the Czechs only have like 25 or 26 players in the NHL. I think only 5 of them are defensemen. So each roster has 20 skaters and 3 goalies. That's how they compiled their 23 players. But Seth Jarvis is playing tonight with Braden Point and Brad Marchand. That's exciting for him. The opportunity to play international for these players, I mean, outside of juniors, not many of them have had the opportunity to do that in real, true high stakes where it's best on best. There's some players for Canada like Sidney Crosby, for example, got to compete in the Olympics early in his career, but then the NHL shut down players from playing in the Olympics. So guys like Connor McDavid haven't played for Canada since juniors. Guys like Jacob Slavin haven't played for Team USA. Sebastian Aho hasn't played for Finland in like true best on best. I know there's like the World Hockey Championships in the summertime, but it's never truly best on best because there's teams still playing in the playoffs during that time. So you're never actually fully getting a team's best. You're getting that this year. I'm excited. Me as a Canes fan, obviously I want Seth Jarvis to do well. I want Jacob Slavin to do well. I want Sebastian Aho to do well. I want Mikko Rantanen to do well. I hope they all score 8 goals in this tournament. 8 goals, 8 assists each. I know that's unrealistic, unless you're going to do it. But I'm still going to root for USA to win, of course. Duh. Still rooting for U.S. to win this whole thing. Imagine this, Graham. The United States has won back-to-back junior championships, gold medals in the World Juniors, back-to-back. And if we win the Four Nations, America's sport, baby. Hockey's America's sport now. Let's go. Let's go. Play the James Brown. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. We talked a little moment ago about UNC football and their plan, about what they're building for the future. But there's money involved. Big time money involved. How's UNC going to dole that out? We got a taste. I'll tell you what that's going to look like coming up.
Listen for the did he just do that?
Johnson trying to step back for a 3. Bring it up. Left side. Boy, that was cold-blooded.
The deep looks from downtown.
Damas from the right block. Gives to Hawkins. Straight on. Triple. Good. They left him open, and he makes him pay.
The get that out of here's.
Bonner to the basket. Rejected by Renew, who saw that one coming.
Your exclusive home for the Final Four. 99.9 The Fan. The Triangle Sports leader.
Zero Res wants to give your home the love and attention it deserves. This month, get 3 rooms of carpets cleaned starting at $109 and take $100 off your air duct cleaning. Book online anytime at ZeroResRaleigh.com.
See website for details. BillsHappen.com is not a lender. It does not make credit decisions. Must be 18 years old. Not available in all states.
Honey, everything is so expensive, and our bills are piling up.
You're telling me credit cards are maxed out, rent is due, and the car payment's right around the corner? We need some extra cash.
We should do what my friend from work did. She went to BillsHappen.com and got the money she needed the next day.
Our credit is not great. Are you sure that would work for us?
Bills Happen is one of the largest personal loan networks. They can help people with all credit types get up to $5,000.
Sounds like it's going to be a hassle.
My friend said it was super easy. She did it right from her phone during her lunch break.
If you have a regular source of income, you can be approved for a loan for up to $5,000, and your cash can hit your bank account the next day. Bills Happens lenders have millions of dollars to lend regardless of your credit history.
Guess what? I went to BillsHappen.com, and we're getting our money tomorrow.
Wow, that's fast. Problem solved.
If you need extra cash, go to BillsHappen.com. That's BillsHappen.com. BillsHappen.com.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What? You expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
Adam Golden Studio with my man Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. When I say everything for the exterior of your home, I mean it. So tell me everything that you have for the exterior of my home.
There's so many things I can't even remember the entire list. You know,
Good luck.
Thanks for the test here. But windows, doors, siding, roofing, gutters, gutter guards, railings, you name it. We have the exterior home improvement you're looking for. The main thing is we're a one-stop shop, right? So you don't have to call 2 or 3 different contractors if you need your roof done and you need your windows done. You can call one company and have it all done.
I like that. French doors.
French doors.
I like French doors. I can't speak French, but I like French doors. Can I tell you, back in the day, you guys did French doors and every window in a home I used to own.
Well, thank you for your business.
It was incredible. Can I also tell you that it was done in like 2 days? Is that even possible?
It is possible.
How do you guys do work that fast?
We're good.
You're
We're
fast.
good.
That's Patrick Day from the Aluminum Company of North Carolina. They do the best work in the industry and the best customer service in the industry as well. AluminumCompany.com.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to RitchieLaw.com.
That's RitchieLaw.com.
WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
I'm WRAL meteorologist Elizabeth Gardner. Scattered rain on and off for the remainder of the afternoon. Chilly out there with a high temperature of 43 degrees. It is a WRAL weather alert day. Watch out for flooding in places that tend to flood fairly easily around your neighborhood. 43 tonight, and then a bit different tomorrow. We'll still have a chance of rain mainly in the afternoon, but warmer, high of 66.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 4 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones down 225 points at 44,368.
Let's move the chains. Time for football at 4.
It is time for football at 4, but Graham, by the way, Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. It is football at 4. But before I get into football at 4, Graham, I have a correction I need to make. I think I need to be put in ISS. I made an egregious error on the dean's list.
What happened?
I was giving all the praise to Eddie Lampkin Jr., and I had my rosters flipped. I saying Eddie Lampkin was playing for Miami, he played for Syracuse. I had my rosters flipped. I misspoke.
It happens.
All this, you know what?
At least you're acknowledging it.
I am acknowledged. I was called out, and I was like, wait a second, I thought I got that right. I was like, oh, I looked at the wrong roster. I had a stat line right, 22 and 13. I was like, wait, he plays for Syracuse, not for Miami. Duh, my roster wrong.
To be fair, were you really tuning in to support either team?
I mean, well, I had a bet on the game last night, so kind of.
Well, exactly. You didn't have like any diehard interest in it.
No. Just our ladder challenge bet, which we'll get here in about 15 minutes.
You were there for a rock fight, which then again, that game might be a disrespect to rocks. So.
I mean, game 91-84, it's high scoring, I guess. You got that. So, but anyway, shame on me. I'll wear that. I ain't afraid to admit it. I'm not one of those media members that just gonna beat around the bush and not acknowledge my own faults and mistakes. I did it. I screwed up. Shout out to Matthew Cleveland of Miami, who had 32 points. Take that. Put him on the dean's list. Eddie Lampkin, detention. I'll be sitting right there next to you. I'll walk you down the hall. Graham's in there too for Seth Jarvis on the dean's list. All right, it's 4 o'clock. Time for football 4. We saw Michael Lombardi yesterday have a press conference. Michael Lombardi, the general manager of UNC football, kind of feels like he's the spokesman, like the voice of UNC football right now. Obviously, Bill Belichick is the face, and Michael Lombardi, I've listened to his entire press conference earlier today. He even talked about how, Bill Belichick, the vision and philosophy of building the team from the inside out, how everything is built in Bill Belichick's message and his idea. So he doesn't really view himself as Michael Lombardi doesn't really feel himself as the voice, I guess you could say, but he kind of has become that. I mean, outside of Bill Belichick's press conference, he hasn't done anything local yet. He still goes on Pat McAfee once a week. Still see him popping up on different stuff nationally. See him in Dunkin' Donut commercials. But he hasn't done anything locally. Michael Lombardi has. We've seen Michael Lombardi on ESPN multiple times. But North Carolina has been extremely transparent about what they're building right now with football. Extremely transparent. From calling themselves the 33rd NFL team, their strength and conditioning, nutrition, the whole bit, how they're going to train and develop players. And Bill Belichick going on the recruiting show. But here's something, though, that a lot of teams are now having to experience. There's revenue sharing that colleges can now have with their athletes. They can share the revenue with them. And we've seen, based off of Bill Belichick's contract, revenue share of $13 million for football. Then you add the collectives and stuff into the mix too. So there's still other NIL opportunities that are going to be out there. Well, how do you allocate money to these players? How does this team, how does a program, a school decide that? It changes the game. Michael Lombardi discussed how allocating dollars to players and having a system for distributing money to players.
In any system, you have to have any monetary value. You have to have a system, right? And so, if you're a starter on the team, there's going to be a certain value placed on what level of starter you are. That's why you have to have a grading system. You just can't arbitrarily say, "I like this guy, I like that guy." We're not picking fruit here. You have to have a grading system, and so when the grade reflects what you pay.
Okay, well then, how much? How much? Michael Lombardi continued talking about assigning worth dollar amount to players is no different than what you would see in the NFL.
It's the amazing thing. Everybody says this guy's a first rounder or this guy's a second rounder. Well, that's insignificant. A first rounder makes X and a second rounder makes Y. So what you're doing is valuing the player, right? When you use those terms, when they do it on television, they don't value the player because it's not their money. But when you're picking in real life, you're saying, I'm going to give this guy a guaranteed contract for 5 years. He's worth X. Is that talent worth that? It's the same thing you're doing in high school on a lower level. So you have to be able to do that. You have to say this guy, so if a starter, he starts for 3 years on your program, he's going to make significant money. If a guy starts 1 year, he's going to make a little bit. The next year, he's got to prove himself again. Because every year, every player could leave. And so you have to have some kind of way, or else you have anarchy. You don't have any system. And that's why you have to have a grading system. That's why you have to grade your players every single day. You have to grade every player so you know what you're losing and what you have to expect to get back.
There's a lot that goes into this. From, okay, how do you grade? How do you evaluate? Well, if, let's say, for example, if a starter gets hurt and a backup comes in and backup performs well, are you going to pay that person more based on that? Hey, I started more games than that guy. Why is he making more money than me? So you are introducing something, again, an element that we really have not seen before when you're actually are sharing revenue, the school paying that player, making a dollar allotment for this particular starter, or assigning a monetary value to a player coming out of high school, a kid in college. We have not seen that fully yet. Yes, there's the NIL stuff, but generally that is offered up front. Now, it doesn't mean a player can't earn that over time, but this is an actual school saying, hey, we have X amount of dollars we can spend. This is how much we think you're worth. Here's the dollar amount. Because now you're getting into part of the recruiting battle. Guess what? The face of Bill Belichick and this whole 33rd NFL team stuff doesn't make a lot of sense. Or, I mean, it does make a lot of sense, but it doesn't carry as much weight if Alabama or Georgia calls me and they offer me more money from the get-go. I mean, gosh, how many Georgia players were starting on defense in the Super Bowl for the Philadelphia Eagles? A lot, to answer the question. So that is something that I think Michael Lombardi, Bill Belichick, and all these schools have to navigate is how much monetary value are you giving a player that's coming in? Because there's a highly touted 5-star out there that's going to say, hey, you know what? This program where I know if I go there and play, I'm going to get looked at in the NFL if I go play there well. They're offering me $2 million from the get-go. What are you offering me? And I also wonder, like, when does that monetary value have to be assigned? Because if there's a position battle, does a team say, hey, well, we're actually paying that guy more, so we need to start that person? You see that in the NFL. You see that in sports everywhere. Why is this person playing over that guy? Well, they're paying him more. That's why. That's just how sports work. I really am intrigued to see long-term how this is going to shake out. We just fully don't know. We think we might see certain things. We just don't fully know. Sure, there's a quarterback out there. That's a premium position. They're going to be assigned a lot higher dollar amount. That's just how the NFL works. It's a premium position. Offensive tackle, premium position. Defensive line, more premium position. Safety? Not so much. Which I think... I was talking to Chris Lee and I for our podcast, Panthers Playbook, which you can catch on 99.9 The Fan's YouTube page. We actually talked to Jordan Reed of ESPN, who's one of their NFL draft experts, does a lot of scouting of college players in preparation for the NFL draft. And we had a conversation about there's been a lack of a better term, a deterioration in certain positions in the sport of football. Like, for example, the safety position in the NFL. It's hard to find good ones. But you also, talking with Jordan Reed about this, he mentioned how in college, it's hard for college coaches. And Chris Lee brought this up too. College coaches talking about it's hard to get safeties at the college level because so many guys either want to play a position where they get the ball, wide receiver, quarterback, running back. No one really wants to play defensive back. And in high school, if you're a really good defensive back, you're probably playing corner because you're going to match up one-on-one against another team's top safety. So there's no one really developing to play safety, even in college, which is making things even harder to find in the NFL. It's harder to find really good safeties in the NFL. But there's been such a devalue of that position. You don't see a lot of safeties drafted high. You see corners drafted high. You don't see a lot of safeties drafted high. So I'm also wondering as well, if I'm a player, like, is there going to be, if I see more money at corner or more money at receiver or running back or whatever it might be, if I see more money at those positions, well, I'm going to train myself to be the best I can at those positions, which only further deteriorates other positions in the NFL. Like, off-ball linebacker has been devalued in the NFL, but yet teams that have really good ones have great defenses. Go figure. But there's been a devaluation, or those positions that be devalued, I should say. Anyway, interesting thought. I'm curious how that's going to impact a school like Carolina, State, Duke, that all have this money to share now that they can openly share. You're going to see that trickle down even further. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox here with my friends over at Loan Pronto. Folks, don't go through another year with all that high interest debt. Let Loan Pronto wipe it all out now. Loan Pronto's rapid equity loan makes it easy to pay off all your credit cards or tackle that 2025 home improvement project. Get cash in your pocket fast. No appraisals, no paperwork, no waiting. Loan Pronto's AI-driven tech gets you approved and funded in as little as 1 day. One client got $150,000 approved in under 24 hours, paid off all their credit cards, 2 cars, and a personal loan, saving over $1,500 per month. With low fixed rates and lightning fast transfers, you can do it too. Consolidate debt, improve your home, take control of your finances. Imagine being credit card debt-free by this time next week. Don't wait. Call Loan Pronto now. 919-381-1760 or visit loanpronto.com. Get your free rate quote now with no hard credit pull. 919-381-1760, loanpronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Graham, we have another ladder challenge. I think I may have tied things up. I won one of my bets yesterday. But also, we have a birthday to celebrate. We have a birthday to celebrate next here on The Fan.
Evan, Canty, and Michelle are unsportsmanlike.
In no way, shape, or form are the Dallas Mavericks title contenders. To me, it's more likely they don't make the playoffs than win a title. They're not winning a title. They're not getting to the finals. This is not a finals team by any stretch of the imagination. They got worse now and later.
I vehemently disagree. I think the Dallas Mavericks are closer to a title.
Unsportsmanlike. Mornings from 6 to 9 on 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and Cupid's arrow is pointing straight to Bailey's. We're here to help and make it easy for you to find the perfect gift for the one you love. Bailey's has something for everyone and every budget. We have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts for under $500, from David Yurman, Apolita, Mikimoto, Lagos, and more. And if you're looking for something extra special, we also have an amazing selection of diamond jewelry. Shop in-store or online at baileybox.com. Give her a gift that's better than chocolate or roses with the easiest and can't-miss way to make her Valentine's Day extra special with a little black and white striped box from Bailey's Fine Jewelry. Located in Raleigh's Village District and Crabtree Valley Mall, also in Cary's Fenton, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Just a little reminder from me, Marcy Bailey. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
Organize easy. Organize tough. Customize your work truck or van with upfit solutions from Van Products. Steel and aluminum shelving, toolboxes, data files, cabinets, drawers, conduit carriers, ladder racks, everything safe and secure. Everything built as unbreakable as you by Adrian Steel. Backed by the best warranty in the business. 3 years, 36,000 miles. Everything custom installed by Van Products so you know it's done right. From a single work rig to a fleet. Choose custom installed upfit solutions from Van Products.
Time to get ready for golf season, and Global Golf is ready for you. Global Golf is home to Carolina's largest selection of pre-owned golf clubs and can help every part of your game, from lessons, club fittings, and repairs. Don't forget, we take trade-ins. Bring in your current clubs and get store credit headed towards your new clubs. You're invited to Global Golf, open Monday through Saturday, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. at 7320 ACC Boulevard, North Raleigh.
Get ready. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds February 14th through the 16th at the Car Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards. Shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat Show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, February 14th through the 16th at the Car Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission, and parking.
Drivers who switch and save with Progressive could save hundreds. With that kind of money, you could go big time on a fancy water bottle with ultra titanium alloy metal. You're not sure why you need all that. I mean, it just holds water. But you're getting it anyway, because if you're hiking near an active volcano and you accidentally drop the bottle into molten lava, your water will still be icy cold. Switch to Progressive and you could save big time. For water bottles. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, not available in all states. Potential savings will vary.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, easycater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at easycater.com.
Looking inside to the right, Cooper. This to Ty. Give it to him!
We have a birthday to celebrate. We also have some family drama. Those are all things we're going to go right here on Hit It and Quit It. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim. Graham Hill producing the show today. Something we do at 4:15 every Wednesday. Actually, you know what, Graham? Let's do Hit It and Quit It. We'll get to the ladder challenge here in a second. Okay? I still have one more bet to pick. Let's go and get to the ladder challenge here real fast. Oh, sorry, Hit It and Quit It. I'm all over the place. You played that Cooper Flag highlight coming out of break. Play that Cooper Flag highlight coming out of break. Believe it or not, it's mock draft season.
To the right, Cooper. This to Ty. Give it to him!
There it is again. You played that highlight. It's mock draft season. NBA mock drafts are coming out already, Graham. That's not till June, but we're getting mock drafts already. A team projected to have the number one overall pick is the Washington Wizards, and number one overall, Graham, it's Cooper Flag. This is my shocked voice. Cooper Flag potentially going number one overall. But also there are other local ties and other people playing for local schools that are mentioned in these mock drafts as well. Full 2-round mock draft for the NBA. Concanipple, Duke freshman shooting guard, small forward. Concanipple projected to be picked 6th overall. Number 7th overall, Duke freshman center, Kamal Malawash. So Duke right now projected to have 3 of the top 7 picks in the NBA draft. But they're not the only team that has players projected to be drafted. Actually included on the mock drafts here, according to ESPN, you also look at Drake Powell, projected to be drafted late in the first round. Drake Powell looking like he is going to be pick. They say pick number 22. Pick 22, which actually, if I'm a player like Drake Powell, if you're getting picked in the 20s, you're generally going to a playoff team. Now, unless there's, pick swaps and picks that were traded and those kinds of things. And so you never know. You might be going to a bad team, but being picked 22, you're actually going to be ending up hopefully in a pretty good situation. Also, projected to be second-round picks. There are actually 3 local ties, Graham, with second-round picks. You look at North Carolina, guard Ian Jackson is actually projected to be the 33rd pick in the draft. So 3rd pick overall in the second round to the Minnesota Timberwolves. That's where he's projected right now. Tyrese Proctor, guard for Duke, projected in the second round to go to Philadelphia at pick number 40, playing with his old teammate Jared McCain. And also Isaiah Evans, who comes off the bench for Duke. Isaiah Evans also projected to be pick number 50 in the draft. So Duke has 5 players right now projected to be picked in the top 50 of the NBA draft. Pretty remarkable.
The brotherhood gets bigger.
Duke has 2. Duke has 2. If there's anything that shows the difference between 2 programs right now, look at that. Duke has 3 players projected to be in the top 7. Carolina has 2 picked overall. That's the projection right now. All right, Graham, let's quit that. Let's hit this.
Well, I mean, are you a smart guy?
Are you a smart guy, Graham? I mean, Seth Jarvis is a Harvard grad guy. Your guy on the dean's list.
Yep.
Graham, they're playing in the Four Nations tonight. Canada is. Taking on Sweden. That's 8 o'clock tonight. So Seth Jarvis, Team Canada, tonight. Tomorrow, it's Jacob Slavin and Team USA playing against Sweden. USA and Finland tomorrow, I should say, against Sebastian Aho and Mikko Rantanen. Graham, give me a winner. Four Nations Cup. The whole thing. Give me a winner.
USA, 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 USA. They're going to pull off the upset.
That's no upset. Is it an upset? I think they're, depending on what sportsbook you look at, they're actually favored to win the whole thing.
I would say, who would you say right now would you think to be
the favorite?
The favorite to win.
United States. United States has better defense and better goaltending. Canada's forwards are stacked. We know that. USA has a good crop of forwards themselves. Sweden's got a good team. But no one has the defense and goaltending like USA does. It is absolutely stacked. Led by Jacob Slavin himself.
Yep. Let's go.
He's actually on the top defensive pair with Adam Fox of the New York Rangers. Now, granted, the United States is going to be without reigning Norris Trophy winner Quinn Hughes, who's one of the best defensemen in the NHL, also one of the best defensemen on the power play. I think it's 22 or 23 points on the power play alone this season, does Quinn Hughes. He's really good, but he's dealing with an ailment. I believe they say an oblique injury, so he's not playing. But overall, their defense is still stacked. Jake Sanderson filling his spot. Noah Hannafin, former Carolina Hurricane draft pick, was probably projected to be that 7th defenseman, the healthy scratch. He's probably going to be on that 3rd defensive pair now because Quinn Hughes is being out. But Jacob Slavin, lockdown defender. You think he's going to trash? I know Jacob Slavin's not going to trash talk.
Yeah, he's not a trash talking player. Seth Jarvis might be.
Seth Jarvis might. But I'm curious about how that's going to look when tomorrow when Slavin's on the ice and Mikko Rantanen or Sebastian Aho's out there. Like, how's that going to look? Because Jacob Slavin's going to know everything, at least especially with Sebastian Aho, know every little small thing that guy does.
That's a good point.
He's just going to poke the puck away. And it's just going to get under Aho's skin.
Seth Jarvis, or Sebastian Aho, I should say, has already recognized that Jacob Slavin's probably going to be one of the toughest players that he's going to go up against in the Four Nations face-off. And rightfully so. I mean, not only is he a lockdown defenseman, but he is your teammate. As you mentioned, he sees your secrets. He knows what rabbit you're going to pull out of your hat in practice. So that'll be an exciting matchup. I just hope the Carolina Hurricanes players that are represented in this tournament show up and show out.
Oh, I agree. I said a little bit ago.
And stay healthy.
Absolutely. I hope Slavin, Rantanen, Aho, Jarvis, they all score 8 goals. I hope they all do. But obviously USA wins this whole thing. All right, let's quit that. Let's hit this. College baseball starts this week, Graham. We are into college baseball this week. Friday we get first games. I know State, Duke, Carolina are all set to be in action this Friday. I don't know how weather's going to do it because the weather outside right now sucks.
Yeah, not the best weather for a weekend of opening weekend series for baseball.
No, it's definitely not. It's definitely not. But you know what? That's what happens. You get this time of year. My parents. I grew up right by the University of Virginia. I know I mentioned this yesterday, but they got about 9 inches of snow yesterday, and they're expecting 3 more today. Good luck playing in that. Have fun. Have fun playing in that mess.
Now, Dennis, I know we've been talking about how all sports during the whole sports year.
Mm-hmm.
ACC was down in football. It's been down in basketball. Women's basketball has been pretty.
Women's basketball crushing it.
Yeah, it's crushing it right now. But baseball might be the sports that the ACC runs its course. I mean, you have about 6 teams right now in the conference that make up the preseason top 25 rankings. 3 of them here locally, with NC State being ranked as high as number 13, Duke at number 11, and then North Carolina up there at number 6. Also, Virginia number 2 in the top preseason top 25 rankings. Then Wake Forest number 14, Clemson number 15. So yeah, good amount of representation of the ACC in college baseball this year.
It's up there. This is where ACC they thrive in baseball. I think where they thrive. I think they're one of the best conferences in baseball. SEC is stacked as well in baseball. Obviously, men's and women's lacrosse. ACC is the best. I mean, there's no SEC lacrosse. They smoke the Big Ten in that sport. Ivy League might be the second best conference in all of lacrosse. But yeah, football and men's basketball, they've struggled. I know they had 2 teams make it to the college football playoff, with SMU being the regular season champion and Clemson obviously making it. But the drop-off we saw from Florida State in football was obviously drastic as well. And teams that you were expecting to be good in football just haven't been there. But also, if you look at the brand names of the sport, or of the ACC when it comes to specific sports like basketball, UNC hasn't pulled their weight in men's basketball. Louisville, over the last few years, has not pulled their weight overall. I mean, obviously, I know this year they've been much better, but they still have a long way to go to being back to any sort of national prominence. But then you also have to take a look at other schools like Wake Forest.
Who was a powerhouse a couple of years ago.
Wake Forest for a long time. I mean, gosh, you had Tim Duncan, you had Chris Paul, you had Josh Howard, Randolph Childress. You had dudes coming through that program. Muggsy Bogues is a Wake Forest guy. Like, you had dudes that were still coming through that program. Was it at the level of Duke or Carolina? No. But you still had guys that were coming through there. It was still a respectable program, and it hasn't been on any sort of national level in several years. So those are all things when it comes to the ACC. Your brand names still need to be your brand names. They still need to pull that weight. So in terms of baseball, Virginia, UNC, Miami, all programs that need to continue to pull their weight in baseball. Florida State being part of that. Like football, Florida State, you got to pull your weight in the conference. You really do. All right, let's quit that. Let's hit this.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. And I bet MLS is also doing great. Happy birthday, MLS. You've reached 30 years. 30 years, I'm like, wow, it's actually been around for that long? I have a lot of issues when it comes to sports like MLS.
I see that Adam Gold in your studio left soccer on for you to keep up with during this afternoon's show.
He did, actually. It's Liverpool versus Everton, and looks like Everton may have tied the game with in stoppage time in the second half to make it 2-2 for people in the Premier League. But here's the problem, Graham. We can turn on the TV here in the studio, and I can find other leagues not called the MLS. This is the big problem with soccer in the United States. When MLS signed their deal with Apple TV, or if you subscribe to Apple TV, you can watch MLS games. You made it more difficult for casual fans to watch your product. Like, I'm as casual of a soccer fan as it gets. But you know what? It's live sports on my TV. Like, I can throw that on here in the studio and watch it. We've seen Bundesliga on ESPN. We see the Premier League on NBC's variety of networks, whether it's USA or NBC itself, since Universal has that contract. But guess what? Can I find an MLS game on my TV?
No, they're very hard to come by.
Exactly. You don't know where the games are. Unless you are an actual fan of a team, an actual fan of MLS, it's a lot harder to watch their product. This is a big problem. And I throw the same thing out there at the NWSL with the NC Courage. You don't know where to find their product. If you want to try and grow your audience and grow your brand and grow your league, you have to make things more easily accessible for casual viewers to find your product. MLS doesn't do that anymore. They don't. Yeah, you got this big deal with Apple. Great. They're paying you money. More teams want to come into your league. You're like over 40 teams now, if I remember correctly, in MLS. I don't know who any of your star players are. I don't. MLS for so long has been known as a retirement league. Like, hey, I mean, other than Lionel Messi, who plays for Miami.
Yep.
Outside of that, like, what other stars do you have? I can't think of one.
The last I can think of was Clinton Dempsey when he was playing.
Yeah,
still
Clint Dempsey. Yeah. David Beckham, is he still out there? I saw him in a Super Bowl commercial. That's the problem when it comes to me, when it comes to MLS. You got Messi on the tail end of his career, and the dude is a star. And yeah, we see their highlights and stuff, but it's a lot harder to find their product. That's a bad thing. Glad Apple's paying you a bunch of money. I'm sure your viewership can be pretty good.
I don't know if I'm going to be paying Apple the money to buy a subscription.
I'm not.
In order to watch the product.
I'm not. I don't care that much about it to watch it, to pay that money for it. Just, hey, if I have to go and try and find your product, hey, I want to try and casually tune in to watch something. How do I watch the game? Where is it? If you make it more difficult for me, I'm less likely to watch it. All right, let's quit that. Let's hit this.
KD.
Oh, yeah, KD. By the way, this Everton. See, this is what makes it entertaining. This Everton-Liverpool game tied up 2-2. That's how the game ended. The Everton scored like at the very end of stoppage time to tie the game, and that's how the game ends in a draw. But there's some Liverpool people that are pissed. There's some pushing and there's some shoving. I was like, okay, I'm getting this too.
Gotta love some good extracurriculars.
I love it. Everton, I guess it was 15th in the I'm sorry, what do they call it? The tables. 15th in the standings. Liverpool first, but they had a draw. Anyway. More easily accessible for me to watch. Not MLS. But something you probably may have watched last night if you're an NBA fan. Kevin Durant, 8th person in NBA history to reach 30,000 points. That is an accomplishment.
Now, he couldn't get me 5 assists, but, that's either here or neither.
Neither here nor there?
Yes.
Neither here nor there. So that's congratulations to Kevin Durant. Things that we're not going to talk about. We're not going to talk legacy. We're not going to talk any of that other stuff. We're just going to say, hey, shout out Kevin Durant. You scored 30,000 points in your NBA career. 8th person ever to do that. Kudos. Congratulations. All right, let's quit that. Let's hit this. Family drama. Steve Smith Sr., the former Carolina Panther wide receiver, has clapped back at former Carolina Panther quarterback Cam Newton. Because Cam Newton said this on the Travis Hunter Show.
When I was the first pick, I went into a locker room of losers.
How did you handle the pressure of being the top pick?
Let's put it in perspective. You're the top pick because what?
Where you play.
No. You're looking at it from a personal situation. I'm talking about from the professional situation. You're the top pick because that was the worst team in the NFL the year before. For me, I wanted to be the number 1 pick. You could potentially be the first pick, but bro, you have no way of impacting the game like a quarterback does. You can lock down the number 1 receiver. You can make impact plays on offense all you want, but it's still not like a quarterback. My issue is when I was the first pick, I went into a locker room of losers. Guys didn't know how to win. Guys didn't know how to prepare. It was a culture shock for me. The games don't mean a lot to a lot of people in the league like you would expect. It's just money. Not everybody has capabilities to be impact players. They're just players.
Okay, so a few things here. Again, that was on the Travis Hunter show. Travis Hunter, who's just won the Heisman Trophy at University of Colorado, projected to be a top 5 pick in the upcoming NFL draft. We're a little strong there with the L, with the losers. Like, hey, I went to a locker room full of losers. I think it was the poor choice of words. I think what Cam was trying to say was, I'm going into a locker room for a team that didn't know what winning was like.
Didn't have a winning culture.
Didn't have a winning culture, didn't know what it was like to win. They only had experience losing. I went into a locker room full of losers. It's a different connotation. The poor choice of words, I would say. But I also find it interesting about winning culture and those kinds of things. When we heard not that long ago Cam Newton on First Take saying, I wouldn't trade my MVP for a Super Bowl. Because MVP says that, hey, I was the best at what I did. So I'm like, wait a second. You went into a locker room talking about culture of a team that didn't know how to win, but you wouldn't trade your individual success for winning. I think that's what rubbed some people the wrong way. And Steve Smith, who's been outspoken against the organization at times, Steve Smith Sr. clashed butt heads with Cam Newton. It's been publicly known. It's obviously still happening. Posted on social media saying, hey, did not like the choice of words, saying, oh, like the 52 other guys were just losers and you came in and changed everything. Like, kind of paraphrasing here. But Steve Smith Sr. did not like what Cam Newton had to say. And I guess what? I don't blame him. If I hear one of my former teammates say, yeah, I came in there, all those guys were losers. Oh, you're calling me a loser? You're calling me a loser? Like, just because the team wasn't successful doesn't make me a loser. Because you are saying that personally about me. And that's uncalled for. So if you want to, again, I think it was poor choice of words by Cam. But I can totally get why I rubbed some people the wrong way. All right, Graham, we have a couple minutes here. We kind of skipped it. We got to get to it. We need to get to our ladder challenge here, sir. I jumped the gun on talking about Cooper Flagg. My apologies. So ladder challenge, Graham and I are making just 2 picks every single day. Whoever comes back with the most money wins. Do $10 on each pick. So, Graham, yesterday, I had Syracuse on the money line against Miami. I lost that one, but I had Florida men's basketball on the money line against Mississippi State. So that $10 turned into $19.80. So I bet total of $20 yesterday. I came back with $19.80, so I lost 20 cents as a whole. Did you win either of your bets yesterday?
I did not win any of my bets. I had Tyrese Halliburton anytime block plus 100. He did not hit. Also, Kevin Durant over 4.5 assists, plus 116. Did not hit. He only had 3 assists. Maybe I just need to start with prop bets, but maybe I'll learn my lesson tomorrow because my 2 bets today,
okay,
I'm going to stay with some prop bets as well. Also, I might need to go with safer value. Would you like for me to go first?
Yes, go first, sir.
In honor of the NHL 4 Nations face-off starting today, first one I'm going to do is Canada versus Sweden. Because I had him on my Dean's list, I'm going to have Seth Jarvis anytime goal scorer plus 450. I wasn't going to go with Braden Point at plus 250. All of these are plus value just because you're throwing a bunch of all-star caliber players on one roster. It's going to be hard to tell who's a favorite to score.
Mm-hmm.
But let's go with Seth Jarvis just to show some support to a fellow Carolina Hurricanes player. Anytime goal scorer plus 450.
Okay, I actually found that bet at plus 550. So I have Seth Jarvis anytime goal scorer at plus 550.
All right.
Is where I found that bet. So I'm going to take that as my first one. I'm also going to go with the over first 10 minutes of the game, over number of goals scored to be over half a goal. So I'm betting that at least one goal will be scored in the first 10 minutes of tonight's game between Sweden and Canada. That's a minus 154, so that $10 will turn into $16.40. What's your next bet?
For my next bet, I'm going to take a page out of your book, good sir, and I'm going to go with Sebastian Aho, 2 or more shots on goal, minus 205 in the USA versus Finland game.
There it is. So you're putting that for tomorrow? That game's tomorrow, sir.
Oh, is that game tomorrow?
Yeah, it is. Finland, USA is tomorrow. It's all right. We'll figure out another bet for you. We got to take a break. On the other side, it's Mock Draft Wednesday, Graham.
Give me Canada to win at whatever the value is on the puck line.
On the puck line? So Canada on the puck line tonight, sir. Minus 1.5 goals on the puck line is a plus 105.
All right, I'll take that.
All right, there it is. There it is. It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. It's Mock Draft Wednesday. Who are the Panthers taking at 8? Might be a familiar name, especially if you're from the state of North Carolina. Well, I'll tell you that in 4 minutes.
Tim Donnelly here. And fellas, Valentine's Day is right around the corner. It's time to start thinking about the perfect gift for your special someone. Bailey's Fine Jewelry has curated a Valentine's gift guide to make your shopping experience seamless and impressive. Think of Valentine's Day like a big championship game. You want to be well prepared. You want to have a great game plan, and hopefully at the end, someone will have a new piece of jewelry and a big old smile on their face. Only I'm not talking championship rings. I'm talking about a well-chosen piece of jewelry from Bailey's that's not just a gift, it's a lasting memory. Now, if you need a game plan, the gift guide at BaileyBox.com is perfect for making sure you have the entire playbook at your disposal. Top designers, heart-shaped jewelry, Bailey's collections, all with the exceptional and personalized service that Bailey's is known for. So look up BaileyBox.com and make sure to check out their Valentine's gift guide so we can all get a big W on Valentine's this year.
Breaking news coming in from Bet365, where every nail-biting overtime win, breakaway, pick six, three-point shot, underdog win, buzzer beater, shootout, walk-off, and absolutely every play in between is amazing. From football to basketball and hockey to baseball, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. 21 plus only.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I ordered the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50. Add any size Sprite for $1.49. Price of participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Looking for a new vehicle? Wilkinson Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC, and Sanford is one of the only dealerships where you can shop all 4 brands under one roof. Get unbeatable deals on new and pre-owned vehicles. Our expert service department keeps you on the road, and our full-body shop handles any repairs. It's all here at Wilkinson, where quality and convenience come first. Drive with confidence. Drive with Wilkinson Chevrolet, Cadillac, Buick, GMC on NC 87 South in Sanford or online at wilkinsoncars.com.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Morning, Paula.
Morning, Ron.
Another day in Adminville, am I right?
What are you working on? Oh!
You okay?
Your tabs. You have so many open.
Yeah, gotta order lunch for the big client meeting. With great responsibility comes tabs.
I can help. Close all those tabs and open just one, EasyCater.com. Online ordering from local restaurants, plus tools to save time, stay on budget, track expenses.
One tab to rule them all.
EasyCater, the smarter way to order food for work. Order now at EasyCater.com.
From Carolina winters to our very sunny summers, as America's exterior remodeler, Window World is here to keep families across the Triangle comfortable year-round. If you need new windows, siding, doors, and more, look no further than your locally owned Window World, the Triangle's most trusted and America's largest exterior remodeler. A proud sponsor of the Canes, Window World will get your home looking great on the outside while saving on energy costs inside. Get in touch with them today and request a free quote. Window World of Raleigh and Fayetteville. Improving homes, changing lives.
Carolina will hand to Hampton. Leaps over the pile. Is hit at the 4. Let's go! His way in for the touchdown. Hampton was met midair and would not be stopped.
I'm curious where Omarion Hampton's going to get drafted, Graham. I really am curious to see where he goes. Some people actually have him as the second running back overall to get drafted, behind Ashton Genty of Boise State. Could you imagine if you're a team, for example, imagine if Kansas City had Omarion Hampton on their team.
Just another offensive weapon.
Could you imagine if Kansas City, if Andy Reid had a back that he could hand the ball to 22 times in a game?
Well, Kareem Hunt is getting up there in age. Isaiah Pacheco now has a little bit of an injury history. So, I mean, if you want to save security deposit in a running back, Omarion Hampton might not be. Not a bad decision, actually.
Not at all. And also there's some questions about, all right, well, what about, for example, what does a team like the Chargers do with some of their running backs? They had Gus Edwards as well as J.K. Dobbins. Imagine if Justin Herbert had a running back behind him like Omarion Hampton. I'm curious where he goes. But it is Mock Draft Wednesday. And obviously there are a lot of big-time free agents that we're going to see hitting the market here relatively soon. Like, for example, you're going to see guys, quarterback Sam Darnold, wide receiver T. Higgins from Cincinnati, Josh Sweat, the defensive end / outside linebacker from the Philadelphia Eagles is going to be up there. Trey Smith, one of the interior offensive linemen from the Kansas City Chiefs, who needed help to double-team Jalen Carter in the Super Bowl, but is still probably going to get paid a bunch of money. Also, Ronnie Stanley, the offensive lineman from the Baltimore Ravens. Another one of the big defensive linemen that was taken for the Philadelphia Eagles, Milton Williams, is going to be out there. There's going to be a lot of emphasis on offensive and defensive line, especially in free agency. There's going to be a lot of money paid to those guys. So we hear Mock Draft Wednesday. Let's take a look around what some people around the NFL are projecting the Carolina Panthers to do at the 8th overall pick. Field Yates of ESPN is projecting Jalen Walker, linebacker / edge rusher from Georgia. Happens to be a North Carolina guy. He's from Salisbury, North Carolina. Played at Georgia. So we have talked to, we being Chris Lee of WRL TV and myself, we talked to Jordan Reed of ESPN, one of their draft experts, who also had Jalen Walker going to the Carolina Panthers at number 8. It's been mocked there in a few different places. He made a comparison of Jalen Walker to former linebacker Frankie Louvu. We saw Frankie Louvu for a few years with the Carolina Panthers be great, be awesome. He signed as a free agent last offseason with the Washington Commanders. Carolina tried to re-sign him, actually, by accounts, by reports, actually offered him a little bit more than what the Washington Commanders were offering him, but he wanted to go somewhere else. That's his prerogative. But we saw Frankie Louvu with his versatility to play both off-ball linebacker and be an edge rusher at times, someone that you can move all around your front seven, a versatile piece. Jalen Walker was the comparison. We saw Jalen Walker at different times for Georgia this past year in high-pressure games dominate at different times. Absolutely dominate. The Panthers did not have a single player reach even 6 sacks in 2024. That's bad. So you need as much help up front on the defensive line as possible. But there are some people that think otherwise. So if you actually go on the latest mock draft on CBS Sports by Chris Trapezo, he actually has, and I actually hate this early on, like this time of year, when it comes to mock drafts where teams start to do trades, like, oh, we're mocking this trade and all that kind of stuff. So he has trades mocked into his mock draft. I don't like that personally, but that's just me. He has Teneroa McMillan, the wide receiver from Arizona. 6'4", 6'5", 210, 215 pounds, somewhere in that range. Last season, 84 catches, over 1,300 yards, 8 touchdowns. Can be that big body, vertical threat that can get yards after the catch for Bryce Young.
Sounds like they would want him to slide into the number 1 receiver spot.
Possibly. Potentially develop into being that. If he can be that right away, great. But you can't guarantee that with a wide receiver from a rookie right away. But I caution this. I understand that there's a lot of depth on defensive line, edge rusher, defensive line in this draft, linebacker. I get it. But what have good teams emphasized when drafting players? A couple days ago, Graham, you and I talked about how the Philadelphia Eagles, where have they put a premium on their draft picks? I'm talking rounds 1, 2, and 3. These high picks, where have they put premium? Defensive line, offensive line, corner. That's where a majority of their picks have gone. Defensive line, whether it's interior with D tackle, defensive end, offensive line, corner. They've drafted one skill guy in the first 3 rounds in the last 4 years. They've drafted one offensive skill player in the first 3 rounds over the last 4 years. Who's consistently been good? Philadelphia. They were drafting defensive linemen while they already have Pro Bowl defensive linemen. What are the premium positions in the NFL? Offensive line, especially tackle, but offensive line, edge rusher, interior defensive line, corner, and obviously quarterback being the most premium. Where have they made their drafts? There. That's where teams are built. Those spots. So to me, I'm all in on getting a linebacker or edge rusher, depending on who's there. Again, depending on who's there. I don't want to go after a wide receiver at the 8th pick. I personally do not. I want to get one of the best defensive players in this draft at number 8. You have so many needs on defense. Now, people say, well, you shouldn't draft for need. You should draft best player available. Well, guess what? There are a ton of great players available at 8 that also fit your biggest needs. The Panthers were 31st in the NFL in pass rush win rate last year. So actually beating their offensive linemen. 31st in the NFL. They gave up the most points in a season in NFL history. This is not a slight towards McMillan. Can he be a great player? Possibly. I don't know. But what am I going to spend my draft capital on? Defense, 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 defense. And by all accounts, this draft is loaded with a lot of great defenders up front. There are some people that are projecting that you could have 20 or so defensive guys on the defensive front, whether it's interior defensive linemen or edge rushers, 20 of them go in the top 50 of the draft. That's a lot. Get those guys. Get the high talented ones. Don't need a wide receiver at 8. Give me the defensive guy. I hate saying it, but Abdul Carter, the edge rusher from Penn State, I would love to have him. He's not going to fall all the way down to the 8th pick unless something weird happens. Mason Graham, the defensive tackle from Michigan, put him next to Derek Brown on the interior of that defensive line along with Ashawn Robinson. Now you're pushing the interior of the offensive line back into the quarterback. That makes everyone's life easier. Helps your edge rushers, helps your defensive backs, helps everyone else. Starts up front. It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Dennis Cox here for my friends at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. As football winds down, College basketball is gearing up. Fans are ready to see which teams will prove they are ready to shine in March and who will be seen in San Antonio. You can get in on all the action from tip-off to the final whistle at ESPN Bet Sportsbook. Right now, new ESPN Bet Sportsbook customers can bet $10 to get $100 in bonus bets and unlock 30 days of ESPN Plus. Download the app and sign up with the promo code Radio100 to get started today. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 877-718-5543 or visit morethanagame.nc.gov. Terms and conditions apply. See app for details. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly here on 99.9 The Fan. Coming up in the starting five, there's a plan being laid out for one team here in the Triangle. They're setting everyone up or letting everyone know what their plans are for the future. We'll have that and also big-time college basketball games tonight in the ACC coming up next on the starting five.
Hey, it's Adam Gold, and do you have a late-night craving for in-depth analysis on the Carolina Hurricanes and their latest game, their latest win, their pursuit of the Stanley Cup? Well, I can quench your thirst. I can feed that appetite on the Canes Corner podcast, the morning after edition, which drops the morning after every Hurricanes game. Get it wherever you get your podcast. Brought to you by the Aluminum Company of North Carolina.
Tim Donnelly here for Zero Res. Now, February is the month of love, and we're all guilty of it, right? We wait till something like February happens to love those that maybe we've been neglecting or let them know how much we care. Have you been doing that to your rugs, your floors, piling up with dirt and grime and dander? Well, Zero Res wants to love your rug. Love your rug special right now. 3 rooms of carpet cleaned starting at $109 and $100 off air duct cleaning. Visit ZeroResRaleigh.com or call 919-995-0000.
It's bow time.
A leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
Leg and thigh dinner from Bojangles for just $5.99.
So crispy.
So crispy.
And juicy.
And juicy.
So much flavor.
So much.
Stop it. What are you doing?
What, you expect me to get this delicious deal and not say anything?
You're unbelievable.
You're unbelievable.
With a boldly seasoned leg and thigh, choice of fixin', a biscuit, and legendary iced tea, it's a deal so good it's worth repeating. So eat and repeat while it lasts. It's bow time.
It's bow time. Dine in, drive through, or tap your favorite delivery app and have Bojangles come to you. Satisfy your craving for flavor right now with Bojangles 2-piece dinner. 2 pieces of Bojangles dark meat chicken, your choice of fixin', a biscuit, and iced tea for just $5.99. That's right, just $5.99 for limited time at participating Bojangles. What are you waiting for? When you're hungry, it's always bow time.
This Valentine's Day, if you really want to impress me, how about a romantic meal at home from the Butcher's Market? So we each get a juicy filet mignon, lobster tails, twice-baked potatoes, and 4 long-stem chocolate-covered strawberries. Pretty romantic.
Right. And the folks over at the Butcher's Market have made it so easy for guys like us. I just order online, and it'll be ready for pickup when I walk in the door.
So what are you waiting for? Visit thebutchersmarket.com now. Trust me, you'll be glad you did.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Get ready. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale is coming to the State Fairgrounds February 14th through the 16th at the Car Scott Building. It'll be filled to the max with boats ready for immediate delivery featuring Suzuki outboards. Shop center console, runabouts, deck boats, bass boats, pontoons, aluminum boats, and more, all under one roof. Boat Show only savings, discounts up to $12,000, factory rebates, and special financing on site. The Chatley Boat Show and Sale, February 14th through the 16th at the Car Scott Building on the State Fairgrounds, featuring Suzuki outboards, free admission and parking.
This hour of the Triangle Sports Leader is powered by Ritchie Law Firm, injury lawyers. Ritchie Law is on top of it. Go to ritchielaw.com.
That's ritchielaw.com.
They score! WCMC HD1 Holly Springs. Take us with you on the radio, Instagram, TikTok, Alexa, and YouTube. 99.9 The Fan, the Triangle Sports Leader.
WRL meteorologist Amy Wilmoth. It's a weather alert day. Another round of rain moves in just in time for the evening commute. Scattered showers will be with us through the evening with temperatures mainly in the 30s. Then overnight tonight, a couple of spotty showers and areas of fog. Temperatures likely climb overnight tonight into the mid-40s. And then showers and a few storms possible the first half of the day Thursday with high temperatures in the low to mid-60s.
Weather update brought to you by Newcomb & Company, where your comfort is their business. Visit newcombandcompany.com. 5 o'clock check of your money. Dow Jones closes the day down 225 points at 44,368.
It's 5 o'clock. Time to serve up the biggest sports stories of the day. Here comes your starting five.
It's the Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Graham Hill producing the show. It's time for the starting five. Let's not waste any more time, Graham. Let's start off with number 5.
Count them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Shuttle pass to Hampton, wide open, 30, 20, 10, touchdown Tar Heels!
Yeah, Marion Hampton, one of the few bright spots for UNC football this past year. Obviously going to be going on to the NFL. Might be anywhere picked in the second round. You never know, might even slide into the late first. But UNC football has turned over a new leaf. It's crazy to think about what we're going to talk about right here with Michael Lombardi, the general manager of UNC football. Yesterday spoke to the media, had a press conference out in Chapel Hill. Talked for a good 25 minutes or so, Graham. I know you listened to it. I listened to the full thing this morning. By the way, there's a full write-up on WRLSportsFan.com. If you want to read some more in-depth stuff about what Michael Lombardi had to say, you can actually watch the full interview there. Brian Murphy, sports investigative reporter, wrote up a good article about the pay structure that Michael Lombardi and Bill Belichick are looking to implement when it comes to revenue sharing. Because, again, starting this fall, schools can start paying players directly. But Michael Lombardi spoke to the media yesterday, again, about North Carolina football and being a school that's in a national spotlight, that's nationally recognized. And when you have a coach like Bill Belichick walking into schools, well, let's just say it draws attention.
We have a great brand. I mean, we have this UNC logo is worldwide, so we shouldn't limit ourselves. You know, I think that we can walk into any school and say, we're North Carolina, we have the greatest coach in the history of football, and we have a great university. Come play for us. I think it's a powerful message.
It definitely is a powerful message. It's a big-time message. The Athletic has an article that was written today about Bill Belichick on the recruiting trail. And they talked to different high school coaches from across the country, from down to Florida, New Jersey, and the state of North Carolina, talked to recruits as well about, hey, when Bill Belichick walks in the room, there's something different about it. People sit up a little bit more upright. There's more eye contact. There's more people paying attention because it's Bill Belichick. It's like, oh yeah, that's the guy that won all the Super Bowls with Tom Brady and coached Gronk, Julian Edelman. These great players that we've come to know over the last few years. So yes, there is a level of reverence that we talk about when it comes to North Carolina football now. And Michael Lombardi also explained why being transparent about the plan that this team has is so important moving forward.
part of our job is to explain who we are and what we're doing. That's what the fans want to know. And they want to know what their program is because they want to stand next to somebody and say they're building this at North Carolina, and they want to say it with authority. And so that's my job. That's Coach Belichick's job, is to keep echoing those comments. And I think once you get people to buy into your plan and you explain it, the second area of leadership is called management of meaning, you get people to follow you.
And they're doing a good job of that right now. They're doing a good job of explaining what their plan is. They have called themselves the 33rd NFL team. That's a big deal when you are labeling yourself as that. We are talking again in high reverence of UNC football. Coming off a year where they went, what, 6-6, Graham? 6-6?
6-7, counting the bowl game, too.
Count the bowl game, too, which I'm not okay, it's a 6-win team. Bowl game, I kind of throw that one out. A 6-win team, but we're still talking about this in high regard. We're seeing Bill Belichick still on Pat McAfee. We've seen him in a Super Bowl commercial because they're explaining what their vision is, and they are doing their best to execute that plan. And people know what the plan is. Michael Lombardi even referred to, when talking about making sure people know their plan, referred to the Philadelphia 76ers from years ago when they had their whole trust the process, where they're going to lose now to better their chances of winning in the future. He says, I hated the plan, but at least I understood what the plan was.
And he couldn't believe how many people bought into it, too.
Yeah. People bought into it because at least they knew what the plan was. And that's something that North Carolina is doing right now on the football side of things. I think this is where North Carolina fans look at what football is doing, and then they see what their basketball team has been doing and go like, well, wait a second. Why is one doing the thing right, it feels like, but the other one, the sport that we're known for, basketball, isn't? That's number 5. Let's get to number 4.
1, 2, 3, 4, all together.
Burns, now a chance for Jarvis. He scores! It's a power play goal. Carolina takes the lead. Seth Jarvis notches it.
Let's see if Seth Jarvis can carry all those points that he took on Saturday, that he earned on Saturday in that 7-3 win for the Carolina Hurricanes against the Utah Hockey Club. Let's see if he can carry that into the Four Nations tonight as Canada takes on Sweden. Seth Jarvis suiting up for Team Canada tonight. Pretty remarkable opportunity for him, who got left off his junior team. Didn't make the Canadian junior team a few years ago before he got into the NHL. Didn't make the Canadian junior team. But now has a chance to suit up for Canada for the first time. It's a big honor for that young man. And these international competitions for hockey players are a big deal, especially when it can finally be best on best. The best players in the NHL, the best Canadian players in the world right now, taking on the best players in the world from Sweden, and the best players from the United States playing the best players from Finland. And those four nations who supply the most talent to the NHL are facing each other. Best on best. This is great for the league. It's great for the sport. There's a lot of sports that we can watch tonight, from NC State basketball to Duke basketball, which we'll get into those here in a bit. But if you love hockey, if you're a Canes fan, this is for you.
And for Seth Jarvis, it feels like this is a great chance for him to formally introduce himself to the rest of the NHL. I feel like as Hurricanes fans, we get spoiled by just seeing him play in front of us all the time. We get used to his personality, his likable attitude, and just being an overall locker room guy. There's not a lot of people outside this realm of Carolina Hurricanes fans nationally that know who Seth Jarvis is. A lot of players do, and David Pastrnak said how excited he was to play alongside him. This is a good opportunity for everybody, not just nationally, but internationally as well, to see how good of a player Seth Jarvis is and find out why he deserves to be in this opportunity.
I'm with you. I hope the rest of the hockey world knows what we know about Seth Jarvis. From his compete, his personality, his talent, he has it all. He has it all. And he's going to be one of the faces of the NHL moving forward. I hope he grows into being that. Like, when people think of hockey, Seth Jarvis is going to be a name that pops into their head. Not just Carolina Hurricanes fans, but hockey fans as a whole. Enjoy the games tonight. Enjoy the games for the Four Nations. They should be awesome. The competitiveness. It's going to feel like playoff hockey. which I'm excited about. It's going to feel like playoff hockey. At least I hope it's that way. That's number 4. Let's get to number 3.
Looking inside to the right, Cooper. This to Ty. Give it to him.
Believe it or not, it's mock draft season. And not just for the NFL. It's also NBA mock draft season, Graham, because, we're 5 months away from that. So basically, it's a ranking and big board wise of who ranks where in terms of draft projection for the NBA. And number 1's Cooper Flagg of Duke, the forward. Not shocked there. He's going to be the number 1 overall pick. It's the worst kept secret. Whomever wins the NBA draft lottery is going to get Cooper Flagg, and that's very exciting. It could be the Charlotte Hornets. Oh, gosh, could you imagine if the Charlotte Hornets got Cooper Flagg? Ooh, about to watch a lot more Hornets games, Graham.
When you had your conversation with Travis Hancock last week, I believe, he was saying that they were moving some stuff around. It sounded like that maybe they were selling for the idea of, okay, let's try to set ourselves up in a position where at least drafting Cooper Flagg is an option.
Yeah.
I don't know about maybe tanking the rest of the season, but at least put that idea out there through the organization.
Hey, if you can get Cooper Flagg, be awesome. Imagine having the number 2 overall pick from last year, Brandon Miller, with another top pick in LaMelo Ball. I think it was 3 overall, LaMelo Ball was. And they got Cooper Flagg to that as well. I mean, I'm for it. What are you going to do with Mark Williams? You can try and trade him again? I don't know. But Cooper Flagg projected to be number 1 overall pick. Con Knipple, Duke guard / small forward, projected to be 6th overall pick. Kama Malawash, the center for Duke, projected to be the 7th overall pick. So Duke has 3 players projected to be top 7 picks. Some other people with local ties, Drake Powell, North Carolina shooting guard / small forward. He's projected to go around pick 22. That's where he's projected to go right now. Hasn't really made a big jump in NBA play, but you never know. Getting in the right situation. Right now, he's projected to go to the Indiana Pacers at number 22. Playing with a point guard like Tyrese Halliburton. Maybe that things elevate. Again, he's still a super young player. He's just a freshman in college. But again, he's projected to go number 22 overall. Ian Jackson, projected to go number 33 overall. So really early in the second round, Ian Jackson, the shooting guard for the University of North Carolina, projected to go 33rd overall to Minnesota, to the Timberwolves. Also projected in the second round at pick number 40, Tyrese Proctor from Duke to the Philadelphia 76ers, which, if that's the case, he plays with his former teammate, Jared McCain.
I didn't even think about that.
And then projected to go number 50 overall, Isaiah Evans, who's from the state of North Carolina, plays at Duke, projected to go to the Cleveland Cavaliers at pick number 50. Go play with Donovan Mitchell. Duke has 5 players projected to be picked. 5.
I have a question for you, Dennis.
Hit me.
In regards to Ian Jackson, you said he currently ranks where in the latest mock draft projections?
33rd.
33rd. So still late in the first round. I have a question. If he...
It's early second.
Early second.
Early second.
If his stock drops any more in projections, do you think he comes back for another season at North Carolina?
Ooh, that's a really good question. If he gets word back from the league like, hey, you're not going to be a first-round pick, I could see him coming back to college for another year. That's a really tough question. Because we saw Kyle Filipowski for Duke after his freshman year, came back to Duke for another year and still actually ended up going early in the second round, right around the same pick, 32, 33. So it would not surprise me if he does go back to college, but does he go back to Carolina?
Yeah. It's one of the questions I asked you yesterday.
That's also a big time. Again, I think he might still go to the draft. It kind of just depends on how he finishes the rest of this year. He has struggled of late. He definitely has. But again, he's just a freshman, but he has all the physical tools to eventually grow into be an NBA player, which is all, again, drafts are all about projecting. All right, that's number 3. Let's get to number 2.
Just the two of us. Parker, high-arcing 3, his 5th triple of the game.
Yeah, Trey Parker had 5 3-pointers for Duke the other day. I'm sorry, not for Duke, but for NC State the other game against Stanford on the road at Stanford on Saturday. 5 3-pointers, 6 of 11 overall, had career-high 19 points. 5 assists were also career high. His 5 3-pointers made were career highs. He had a career day stat-wise. Kevin Keats, earlier this week on Monday during his press availability, talked about the emergence of Trey Parker on the offensive end for the last few weeks.
Excited about, how he's playing, and hopefully that he continues to play the way he did. He's done a really good job, and, he's getting better. He's working hard and putting in the work, and, obviously we need, someone to be able to, he's the one guy that can probably get his own shot and then create for others, and that's what I like.
He's been consistently one of their best offensive players really since the Duke game. The Duke game, I feel like, was really his emergence.
Yep.
Because he wasn't playing a whole lot before that, but then national spotlight game on the road at Cameron Indoor, and all of a sudden he's just knocking down 3-pointers. Like, wait, who's that guy?
Why hasn't he been playing more?
Like, yeah, exactly. Like, wait, hold on. Who's that guy? Ironically, it was kind of similar to what we saw earlier the year, speaking of Duke, and Isaiah Evans. That game against Auburn, goes in there and just starts knocking down 3-pointers. The way he's like, well, who's that guy?
They have another guy?
Oh, exactly. Like, wait, where's this guy been? Now the NC State's kind of the same thing. Well, wait a second. Where's that guy been? Why isn't he being out there this whole time? That's kind of the question when it comes to Trey Parker right now. And I think this is something I try and remind people of when it comes to freshman players. Not everyone can come in right away and just hit it. Not everyone can do it right away. We mentioned Ian Jackson a moment ago. Ian Jackson came on and early in the year was strong. Had a stretch of 6 out of 7 games where he had 20-plus points. Hit the rookie wall. Hit the freshman wall. Sometimes it's reverse. Sometimes freshmen are, hey, you're not ready right away. Then we can kind of start working you in, see how you understand things in practice. Then we start playing you more. Then you can kind of take off. So it can work both ways. Not everyone can plug in and just be the number one guy from start to finish like Cooper Flagg has been for Duke. That's the exception. Even we mentioned Con Knipple for Duke. We'll get into Duke here in a second. There are times where he has struggled shooting this year. He's been inconsistent. There was a game not too long ago where he didn't even score. He's like, I've never played a game where I didn't score since he was like a kid. So again, not everyone can just be good to go right from the beginning. But Trey Parker has come on strong. Now the question is, other teams are going to start to notice that too. I think Louisville and Pat Kelsey isn't going to know, oh, yeah, that guy just knocked down 5 3-pointers the other day. Oh, we saw that game against Duke and what he did. I think Pat Kelsey's not going to notice and start, hey guys, when this guy's on the floor, run him off the 3-point line. Now, Kevin Keats, you just heard him say, Trey Parker has the ability to create shots for other people as well as find his own and also work off ball for it. The versatility is great. He's going to get more attention now. NC State at home against Louisville tonight. It's a tough task against a Louisville team that's good, that's projected to be a 7 seed right now in the NCAA tournament, depending on where you look, but an NCAA tournament team nonetheless. Louisville can't afford slip-ups. You're going to get their best effort, and NC State, in some way, shape, or form, by hook or by crook, whatever you got to do, you got to find a way just to win something. They've lost 8 straight. And it's not like they've been blowout losses either, but a lot of close games. That's number 2. Let's get to number 1.
To the right, lob it back to the baseline for Cooper. 2 defenders crash at him. Up top, Con will launch and hit a 3.
Duke in action tonight, 9 o'clock at home, taking on Cal basketball. First ACC meeting between these two. It's weird saying ACC basketball matchup between Duke and Cal. It still just doesn't, I don't know. It just doesn't feel right, Graham. Just doesn't sit well. I don't know. I'm still getting used to it. But Duke in action tonight for the first time since losing on Saturday 77-71 against Clemson. The first time that Duke has lost since like Thanksgiving when they lost to Kansas.
November 26th, to be exact.
There you go, right around Thanksgiving. So it's been 2.5 months since they lost a game. How do you respond? This is a lot different team that we saw early in the year when they played Kansas, but some people still have questions about Duke late in games, including Dallin Cuff of ESPN, also part of the ACC network, college basketball analysts, saying Cooper Flagg and Duke, well, they haven't handled adversity well this year.
They may be the most talented team, guys, but I have a huge question about their league. Now, they did take a loss at Clemson. And again, late game, they didn't look great. Teams were able to space them out because they're switching everything and attack Cooper Flagg. Chase Hunter was outstanding late game. Vicar Locken was great throughout the game, but they attacked Cooper Flagg. They went at him defensively. And I don't care if he was under the weather. Late game, again, he struggled to produce. When the game was on the line, he lost his footing, slipped, turnover, going the other way. Now, I want them to learn from these mistakes and learn from these losses. The problem is I don't think they're going to see many of them. And the last time we saw them, even in this situation with game pressure, was 3 months ago almost, when they played Kentucky and Kansas and lost in both those games. Freshmen will have the ball in their hands. I want them to be more battle tested. I don't think they're getting it. If they do and they pass those tests, or even if they lose some of them, I might actually feel better.
Allow me to retort when it comes to these late game situations. First of all, on Saturday, Cooper Flagg just slipped. There's a wet spot on the floor. He just slipped. Now, like, oh, he lost his footing. You make it sound like he was out of control and off balance and fell. No, like, he actually had a step on his guy, it felt like, and he slipped on a wet spot on the floor. That's no fault of his own. But I also will challenge Dallin Cuff and whomever about late game situations. You also have to be able to handle late game situations when you're in the lead, too. Those pressure situations, those matter just as much as when you're up 3 late in the game as you are down 3 late in the game. Go back to their game against Auburn, which was right after they played Kansas. Yes, I understand it was at the friendly confines of Cameron Indoor Stadium, but Duke was up 2, 70-68 with just over 5 minutes to play. Duke did not allow Auburn, the number 1 team in the country, by the way, did not allow Auburn to close the gap. Did not allow Auburn to tie the game. What factors into that? Taking care of the ball, so making good choices, making your free throws if they are put on the line. You're also not fouling to give the other team the opportunity to score when the clock is stopped, or just stopping the clock in general for them, rebounding the basketball, and making shots. That matters just as much when you're in the lead in a close game as it is when you're trailing. Against Wake Forest, they were down 4 with 7 minutes to play. Against NC State, just a couple weeks ago, we just talked about that game. It was a 1-point game. 63-62 against NC State with 4:40 to play. Yes, I understand that they have outclassed their opponents in terms of talent. I totally get that. That's just a simple fact. But let's not act like this team hasn't faced some sort of tough situation late in games, because guess what? You have to manage and handle pressure situations with a lead too. And this team has done it. So I'll push back a little bit on that one. Yes, the late game, ball in your hand, you're down a couple points. Early in the season, it didn't work out. We never know how Clemson would have worked out on Saturday if Cooper Flagg didn't slip. What if Cooper Flagg doesn't slip on a wet spot on the floor? If that wet spot's not there, or he doesn't hit it, and he makes that shot, okay. Now we're a tied game, 73-73. Who handles it? Clemson handled it well, too. You got to give them credit. They got put on the line. They made their free throws. That's handling pressure situations late in games. I feel bad for Cal. You're going to get Duke coming off for a loss? Good luck. Good luck. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox here for my friends over at Law Tigers. Folks, it's back, and it's better than ever. Who wants to win a custom Canales motorcycle? Who does? The Carolina Hurricanes, Law Tigers, Tobacco Road, Harley-Davidson, and Shiny Side Paint, they're all teaming up once again to give one lucky fan a custom Canales motorcycle. Simple to enter, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com. Go to caniacsbike.com. You'll see the bike right there. It's custom built. It's one of one. It's painted and decked out in Cane's colors, Cane's decals, white wall tires. It's an absolutely gorgeous bike. It's a gorgeous motorcycle. I can't win it, but you can. You just got to go to caniacsbike.com. This is the 4th time ever that this bike is going to be given away. It's a custom build, folks. One of one, and it can be yours if you just enter by going to caniacsbike.com. Deadline is April 6th. Bike will be given away on the last home game of the year right there on the ice. But don't wait, folks. Go to caniacsbike.com. Law Tigers is a network of independent law firms who are members of the American Association of Motorcycle Injury Lawyers. Law Tigers is not a law firm. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Graham, we need a couple numbers game contestants. 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. You have a chance to win an Adam and Eve gift basket. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so spice up your love life with a trip to Adam and Eve. Visit any 6 Triangle Adam and Eve locations where pleasure begins and passion never ends. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game. 919-860-5FAN, 919-860-5326. We need 2 contestants for the numbers game. An Adam and Eve gift basket on the line. Numbers game coming up next.
The Adam Gold Show.
I felt like Philadelphia would win. And what we call that is, at least I do, blind squirrel theory. The game played out, sort of, as I thought it would. That never happens.
Chiefs look like garbage.
Well, I did not anticipate the Chiefs to be blown out.
Embarrassing.
But exactly what I thought would happen, happened. That never happened.
The Adam Gold Show, weekdays starting at noon on 99.9 The Fan.
Best idea for both of you this Valentine's Day? Adam and Eve. Everybody wins when you walk in with a gift from your local Adam and Eve store. Maybe you've been to one of our 6 Triangle locations. Maybe this is the reason you've been waiting for. Adam and Eve stores are filled with romantic, intimate gifts, from playful to passionate and everything in between. They'll even gift wrap it for you. Shop in store today and get a free gift with a qualifying purchase at your local Adam and Eve, where pleasure begins and passion never ends.
Dear McDonald's, your breakfast menu? Fire. 10s across the board. I could be happy with anything, even though I order the same thing every time. Thanks for not judging me. I'll try something new next time. Maybe.
Get your faves for less. Buy a sausage McMuffin with egg for $2.50 at any size Sprite for $1.49. Price and participation may vary, cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. It's no wonder that ZipRecruiter is the place for skilled skydiving instructors, accomplished airbrush artists, and proficient pediatricians. But if you're not using ZipRecruiter to hire, you're missing out. ZipRecruiter is the place that's so confident it can make your hiring easier that it lets you try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. So if you want the right candidates for all your roles, ZipRecruiter is the place to go. Try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. Never miss out on great candidates with ZipRecruiter.
Hello, I'm John Heister for the Heister Automotive Group. And you know, we're constantly looking for ways to serve you better. One of the ways we do that is with something we call a Go-See. And that's where you select a vehicle from our inventory, and we have thousands, and we get one of our product specialists to bring that vehicle to you at your convenience. How do we do that? Well, it's simple. We have a group of employees that are evaluated based on the number of presentations they do. They're glad to do it. So it's just one more way we get off our keister and bring Heister to you.
Hey guys, Valentine's Day is right around the corner, and Cupid's arrow is pointing straight to Bailey's. We're here to help and make it easy for you to find the perfect gift for the one you love. Bailey's has something for everyone and every budget. We have a huge selection of jewelry and gifts for under $500, from David Yurman, Apolita, Mickey Moto, Lagos, and more. And if you're looking for something extra special, we also have an amazing selection of diamond jewelry. Shop in-store or online at baileybox.com. Give her a gift that's better than chocolate or roses with the easiest and can't-miss way to make her Valentine's Day extra special with a little black and white striped box from Bailey's Fine Jewelry, located in Raleigh's Village District and Crabtree Valley Mall, also in Cary's Fenton, Rocky Mount, and Greenville. Just a little reminder from me, Marcy Bailey. Every woman wants a Bailey box.
It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9. The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim Donnelly this afternoon. Graham Hill producing the show. It's time for the numbers game. The prize that we have at stake, an Adam and Eve gift basket. Valentine's Day is right around the corner, so spice up your love life with a trip to Adam and Eve. Visit any 6 Triangle Adam and Eve locations where pleasure begins and passion never ends. Again, an Adam and Eve gift basket online. We actually had a previous winner from earlier this week pick up their gift basket today. Let's just say there's something for everyone. Something for everyone in there. We have Dave in Fuquay Arena and Sean in Mebane, our contestants today. Let's actually go, Dave. I'm going to ask you this question first. There's a lot of championships coming up. Later on, we're going to have March Madness. We're also going to have the Stanley Cup. We just had the Super Bowl. What is your favorite championship in all of sports?
NBA Finals.
NBA
Usually
Finals.
You have the best 2 teams. Yep. Basketball top heavy, so good.
Okay, NBA Finals. All right, so Dave in Fuquay says the NBA Finals. Let's go to Sean in Mebane. Sean, what is your favorite championship in sports?
I got to go with the Super Bowl.
Okay, any reason why?
Just the food, the commercials, everything about it, man. It's football. Football is great.
Okay. To determine who goes first, Graham, you're producing the show today. Graham, between Dave's answer of the NBA Finals and Sean's answer regarding the Super Bowl, what say you?
Dave, no offense to your answer, but the NBA Finals, I don't know about you, Dennis, it doesn't really move the needle for me. I love the Super Bowl. I just love football. I hate that it's gone, so I'm going to have to go with Sean's answer in Mebane.
Okay, so Sean, you get to go first, but don't worry, Dave, you're going to have your opportunity as well. All right, Sean, are you there?
Yes.
All right, Sean, we have 4 categories to choose from. We have NFL, 4th-round guys, so these are all players that were drafted in the 4th round of the the NFL draft at some point. We also have NFL late-round studs, so these are guys that were all drafted in the 6th and 7th rounds. Also, we have the NBA all-time rebounders list. So these are players you're going to see at or near the top of the NBA's all-time rebounding list. And also NHL Hurricanes only.
We'll go with the NFL 4th rounders.
Okay, NFL 4th rounders. So again, all these players were drafted in the 4th round of the NFL draft at some point. You have 30 seconds on the clock. I'm going to give you the name of the player and the team. You have to give me their jersey number. You're trying to get all 5 players in 30 seconds or less. You do get 1 pass, Sean. Any questions?
Okay. Nope.
Okay, Sean, your time will start when you hear the horn. Chuba Hubbard, Carolina Panthers.
30.
Correct. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit Lions.
14.
Correct. Kyle Juszczyk, San Francisco 49ers.
44.
Correct. Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots.
33.
Incorrect. Aiden O'Connell, Las Vegas Raiders.
12.
Correct. Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots.
30.
Incorrect. Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots.
36.
Incorrect. Ramondre Stevenson, New England Patriots.
25.
Incorrect. You were dancing around it. You were so close. Stevenson wears 38. 38. So you got Chuba Hubbard correct with 30 for the Carolina Panthers. Amon-Ra St. Brown, Detroit wears number 14. Kyle Juszczyk for the 49ers has worn both number 40 and 44. Aiden O'Connell has worn both number 12 and number 4. You gave us number 12, so that perfectly works. And then Ramondre Stevenson, the running back for the New England Patriots, 38. So you're close. You got 4 out of 5. So, Sean, you stay on the line. This brings us Dave in Fuquay. Dave, are you there, sir?
Yep, I'm here.
Okay, Dave, you have 3 categories to choose from. Our remaining categories are NFL, late round studs. So these are guys who are all drafted in the 6th or 7th round. We have NBA all-time rebounders and also NHL Hurricanes only.
Let's do NBA all-time rebounders.
Okay, NBA all-time rebounder. So I'm going to give you the name of the player and the team. You have to give us the jersey number. Because Sean got 4, you have to beat his number, so you got to get all 5 in 30 seconds or less.
Sounds good.
Awesome. And you do get 1 pass. Any questions, Dave, before we get going?
Nope.
All right, Dave, your time starts when you hear the horn. LeBron James, Los Angeles Lakers.
23.
Correct. Tim Duncan, San Antonio Spurs.
21.
Correct. Dirk Nowitzki, Dallas Mavericks.
13.
Incorrect. Nikola Vucevic, Chicago Bulls.
72.
Incorrect. Dirk Nowitzki, Dallas Mavericks.
71.
Incorrect. Nikola Vucevic, Chicago Bulls.
71.
Incorrect. So Dirk Nowitzki for the Dallas Mavericks were 41. Or did you say 71 there? And Vucevic for the Chicago Bulls wears number 9. But you did get Tim Duncan correct with 21. LeBron has worn both 6 and 23 for the Lakers. You did get that one correct. But only 2. Not quite enough to beat Sean's 4. Dave, appreciate you playing, but the winner of this one is Sean, the Adam and Eve gift basket. Congratulations, good sir.
Thank you, sir.
All right, Sean, do you have any Valentine's Day? Do you have like a dinner reservation planned or anything along those lines?
No. Planning to cook up a couple steaks.
Okay, hey, no problem with that. If I cooked my girlfriend a steak for dinner, she'd love it. She really would.
I'm hoping mine loves it.
Oh, I hope so. If you cook it properly, then that's the way to go. Well, what's your choice cut of meat? Also, how you grilling this thing? Are you going for like a medium rare? What's your cut of meat? I'm curious how you grill up your steaks here, sir.
We're gonna go with some bacon wrapped tenderloins.
Go on.
And I like to do a reverse sear and then cook them on the cast iron at medium rare.
Oh, there you go. Now we're talking. Big
Little base with the butter.
Yes. Throw some garlic cloves and a little bit of rosemary in there too. I promise you, you're gonna get it right. That's wonderful. A little sage, a little aromatics. Graham, I'm hungry. Sean, stay on the line. Graham's got to get some information from you here real fast, but congratulations to you, sir, for winning the numbers game and winning the Adam and Eve gift basket.
Appreciate it.
Bacon wrapped tenderloin? Graham, you a bacon wrapped tenderloin guy?
I'm not, but I mean, I'm
you
tempted
are now.
Yeah.
You are now.
I'll definitely try it out.
Bacon wrapped tenderloin. I might have to change my dinner plans tonight. Might have to change the dinner plans tonight. Actually, I take that back. I got the crock pot already cooking at home. You know, the reverse sear is a good move. Like the cat with the cast iron, throw the butter, the garlic cloves in there. Again, the aromatics add a bunch to it. If you can throw a little rosemary, maybe a little sage there in the pan with the butter cooking, the garlic cloves in there, it is fantastic. But I've never done the bacon wrapped tenderloin. That's a game changer. But cooking it to a medium rare, that's perfect. I like where Sean's head at is in this one. I love where Sean's head is. So Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. By the way, if you want to weigh in, I don't know, what your favorite steak or whatever it might be, you can always jump in on the YouTube live chat. 99.9 The Fan on YouTube. Go subscribe there. We're actually building a pretty strong community on our YouTube page, by the way. We've actually have eclipsed over 15,000 followers, which is a big thanks to each and every single one of you. It really does mean a lot to us. And we do want to hear from each and every one of you. We really do. We do want to hear from each and every one of you, whether it's in the comment section of our YouTube live stream, if you go to the videos that we post. If you miss any of the show, the full live stream is available for you to watch on our page, so you could check it out there. But we also post individual videos as well, and it's an opportunity for you all to interact with us. Share your thoughts. If you disagree with something that we say, that's totally fine. You can also share and express your thoughts. We have no problem with that at all. No problem with that at all. And we actually do encourage it as well, because you might have a point of view that we maybe didn't think of. Or you see something differently than us. We like that interaction. We love hearing from each and every single one of you. So make sure you subscribe to our YouTube page as well. Again, if you miss any of the show, you're not able to drive around your car, the full show is right there for you to listen to. And guess what? That means receipts, folks. Receipts. If you go back and, hey, you said on this day this thing, I'm okay with people keeping receipts. I have no problem with it at all. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in for Tim this afternoon. Graham Hill is producing the show. Couple big college basketball games in the area tonight, including one team looking to bounce back from the first time they've lost this calendar year. We'll talk a little college hoops next here on the Fan.
Hey girl, haven't seen you downtown lately.
Nope, sticking to our go-to places.
You mean like Sharky's?
Well, we love our Sharky's. Best wings and gumbo on the planet. But we never miss the $5 sangrias on Wednesdays at the new Salt and Lime. And Mexican pints on Thursdays for $3.
You know my boy loves the House of Hops. No better selection of craft beer in the state. Loves their specials, their food trucks, and you know I love my wine. They have a wonderful selection.
And have I told you about our new takeout spot, Che Empanadas? It's right next to Sharky's. They have 20 different types of authentic Argentinian empanadas, and they are incredible, especially the breakfast ones. You gotta try it.
Sounds perfect. And how awesome is it that they're so close to each other?
Yes.
Give them a try. Che Empanadas, House of Hops, Salt and Lime, and Sharky's. Just a hop, skip, and a jump from each other off Raleigh Road, Glenwood, and Grove Barton.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, it's Dennis Cox. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold, hard cash. You can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, and often no appraisal. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day. So act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com, 919-381-1760. Get the money you need for anything. 919-381-1760, LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
Hi, welcome to Staples. Hi, I hear Staples can print it all for my business. Oh, if you can think it, Staples can print it, and will beat any print quote. Oh, great. I'm thinking new brochures and yard signs. No problem. I'm thinking calendars, t-shirts, and pens. Totally. I'm thinking Staples is the place for printing. I thought you might think that.
Right now at Staples, get up to $250 off your print purchase. Ends 4/5 exclusions apply. Visit staples.com/print for offer details. Price match guarantee valid in store and staples.com/print. Visit staples.com/price match for details.
$5,000. That's the average amount of money people in the U.S. are now spending on gas in a year. $5,000. That's crazy. If you drive, you have to download Upside, the free app that gives you cash back every time you get gas. That's right. You can earn real cash back with Upside just by buying the gas you're already buying. You can literally start earning cash back today.
I use Upside every time I fill up, and I've already made around $200-$300.
You're putting gas in your car anyway. Why not get real cash back? If you like free money, download Upside.
I'm saving the cash I earn from using Upside to help pay for a vacation later this year.
Download the free Upside app now to earn cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code YEAR to get an extra 25 cents per gallon on your first tank. You can cash out anytime right to your bank, PayPal, or a gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code YEAR for a 25 cents per gallon bonus.
With Target, checking off your Valentine's Day list has never been easier. First, surprise your favorite people with something extra thoughtful, like a soothing candle and a memorable scent, or a decorative picture frame to show off every moment. Both buy one, get one 50% off with Target Circle. And don't forget to treat yourself. Find the sweetest style for your special occasion with 20% off women's dresses now through Friday. This week, find Valentine's gifts for everyone you love only at Target.
ZipRecruiter is the place. ZipRecruiter is the place for talented teachers, savvy software developers, and master mixologists. ZipRecruiter is the place where you meet all these people and more. That's because ZipRecruiter is the place for job seekers who are looking for new opportunities. In fact, ZipRecruiter helps 10 million people with their job search every day, so you can find the right candidates right away. Try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Cooper on the left, on a cutter on the baseline, and James underneath the hoop. Outside, Evans a three on the right. Good.
I'm curious to see what NC State does tonight against Louisville. I'm curious to see how Duke handles coming off their first loss against Clemson. This past Saturday, they play Cal tonight at Cameron Indoor. Taking a look at both these games, I think this is it's an interesting pivot point for both of these teams right now. Again, they're completely different situations. Duke right now, only 3 losses on the year. All the losses have come against ranked teams. They lost to Kentucky early, lost to Kansas early, and they just lost to Clemson. And all in tough, close games. But for them, it's their first time that they've lost, and again, in 2.5 months. It was, I think, Graham, you told me the date. November 26th, I think, was the last time that Duke lost a game. So it's been a minute. Whereas NC State's in a situation of, well, they've lost 8 straight. But it's an interesting pivot point because this is where I think Duke can really show how mentally tough that they are. This is where a young team's going to get tested. All right, you lost a game on the road against a team that you were favored against. You didn't have your best that game. Clemson played an awesome game. And you know what Clemson did? They backed up that win where everyone stormed the court. You took down the number 2 team in the country. Stormed the court. What did Clemson do to back it up 2 days later? They stomped Carolina. That's what good teams do. It's always about how you respond and how you follow up. Georgia Tech beat Clemson just before they played Duke. How do you respond? That's always what I say. It's how do you respond? And it's not how you respond for just one game. It's how do you respond consistently after you hit adversity. I'll tie it in. I just mentioned North Carolina. North Carolina has lost 5 of the last 7 games. Graham, you and I talked on Friday about UNC basketball going in against Pitt about, hey, this is like a losers leaves town match for 2 teams that were on the bubble of the NCAA tournament. How did Carolina respond? It was a tough, physical, gritty game. They came out on top of the win. Played with a lot of desperation in that game. Okay, how do you follow it up? They followed up with a stinker against Clemson on Monday. This is where I think Duke is now going to get, this is their test late in the year. All right, you lost on the road at Clemson in a tough environment. How do you follow it up? How do you follow it up? You got Cal tonight. You're better than Cal. I think they're favored by, 23.5 points, something like that? That's a ton.
Cal also 2-6 on the road.
Yeah, you got to come out east a lot. And they're a 500 basketball team in the ACC. Just call them what they are. I actually thought Duke, it impressed me when Duke played Carolina at home in Cameron, blew the doors off them. I know Carolina had their little run late to make it 17 points as the final score. It wasn't that close. And when Tim was here, Tim and I talked about how when Duke played their next game, all right, Duke, how do you respond? Are you going to have the emotional letdown, or at least not be emotionally invested into a game? You're on the road at Syracuse. It's cold up there. You're on the road. Probably not a big-time crowd. How do you handle going on the road into that environment after you just played one of your rivals in an emotionally charged game? They went out there and they beat the brakes off Syracuse. Now, again, they had the slip-up against Clemson. It's going to happen. Okay, how do you respond? What's your answer? NC State, they're kind of at a pivot point in their season of, we gave them credit earlier in the show. They're a team that no matter what the score has been, despite the fact that they've lost 8 games in a row, 10 of their last 11, this team still continues to compete and fight. I mean, it reflects in the score that these games have been close. It ain't because of lack of effort. Sometimes it's just late game execution. That's been the big knock for NC State in a lot of these games, is that they've gotten looks at the basket or they've had some leads and let some things slip away. That's been their MO over the last few games. Really, for this last stretch of 8 games, they've been in tight in a ton of games. 1 possession, 1-point losses. They've been riddled with that. They haven't really been blown out in any game. The one that was actually truly a sizable loss was, remember correctly, the Wake Forest game they lost by 12?
Yep.
I mean, that's it. I mean, everything has been 5 points, 6 points. They just lost by 1 point against Stanford the other day.
With a chance to win on the final possession.
Yeah, the shot by Trey Parker, who's been great for them, it rattled out. It was a good look. And sure enough, that was actually probably the best late game offensive execution that we actually saw, at least the late game play setup that we saw from NC State in a long time. Marcus Hill gets the ball, top of the key, drives down the left side of the lane. On the right side of the court, to his right, they were trying to come off staggered screens. They're going to have Dontrez Styles coming off a pair of staggered screens. And Trey Parker runs the baseline, gets to the left corner. So Hill's driving down the lane. If he has a look at the lane, take it to the rim. That's what he does best. Marcus Hill gets to the rim. But instead, he draws 2 big guys. Hey, who's wide open here to my left? Oh, Trey Parker. Kick out. He had options with the ball at the top of the key with 4.3 seconds left. He had options. And they got a clean look, and the shot just rattled out. Not going to fault the freshman for it. It was a clean look. He had to get it off quickly because the shot clock or the game clock was about to run out, but still got a good look. And I was like, wow, that's actually good late game execution. They just, unfortunately, were not able to make the shot. But NC State has been competing their butts off in games. You got to give them credit for that. Has the execution been there? No. Has the rotation for Kevin Keats been consistent? I don't think so. Now, there's been times where there's some guys that have been missing because of illness or injury, whatever it might be, but teams have to play through that. Mason Gillis for Duke has missed the last couple games. He's been fighting an illness. Mason Gillis is one of their best guys off the bench who has a ton of versatility, whether he plays in the backcourt. There's times where when Malik Brown was dealing with an injury for Duke, Mason Gillis was playing the 5, coming in for Common Malawash. Mason Gillis is like 6'6", going out and playing low in the post. But he understands his role. He's also the reigning Big Ten 6th Man of the Year. He knows what it's like coming off the bench. Now, Mason Gillis comes back is obviously going to be a boost to Duke. But every team kind of plays through it. For NC State, it's a pivotal point for them because despite all these losses, are you still going to continue to compete and fight despite what the results have been? That's what competitors do. We haven't been saying that about every team in this area, but that's what competitors do. Despite what the results might be, they're still fighting their butts off. NC State at home tonight, 7 o'clock. Duke at home tonight, 9 o'clock. By the way, you can listen to NC State over on Mix 101.5. You can also listen to Duke over on Buzz Sports Radio. We have it all covered for you here, folks. It's The Drive with Tim Donnelly on 99.9 The Fan. Dennis Cox sitting in this afternoon for Tim Donnelly. Graham Hill producing the show. Overdrive is coming up. North Carolina, UNC football is being talked about in high regard. You hear that conversation next.
The Pack Therapy Podcast